And transition, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with Saber Dice. We've killed Lauren. Speaking of which, we have some amazing, incredible, wonderful, sexy people here with us today. We have Michael Hunt.
Not that word!
With unMadeGaming. We have Jacob BUDZ with XP to level 3. David FRIANT of Nerdarchy fame is joining us. Lauren B, aka the XMsGinjaNinja, is in house. I am CODY with Taking 20, and we have the one and only incredible, fantastic, splendiferous Game Master, Guy SCLANDERS from How to Be a Great GM.
Guys, we just had the sex talk with Jacob here.
Yeah, we did.
Now, if you look closely, this is no.
I wish what we were saying right now wasn't so close to the truth. Here with a few words from our sponsors, Jacob BUDZ with XP to level 3.
Hey guys, so have you ever heard of No, not them. Have you ever heard of Fantasy Grounds? The Grounds. Sorry, that was just on my mind for a moment there.
Because he was thinking about Elderwood.
We were sure thinking about Elderwood. Another thought that came to mind is, are you How to Be a Great GM so that you can be the Game Master? Because that just came to mind, and I just noticed that. Anyways, Fantasy Grounds. We use that on Saber Dice. They're a preferred tabletop internet thing of choice where you can roll dice and play with your friends. I run it. Cody runs it. That's about it. But we love it, and it's super, super awesome, and you should check it out because it's on Steam.
I've totally run it.
And so has Dave. Dave also definitely 100% runs it, and it's so great. Yes, I am Matthew Saff. Thanks. Our other sponsor is Dungeon Painter Studios. There's only one slogan for this one. You ever want to paint a dungeon in a studio? Then you do that. All the maps that Guy makes on this show are made in Dungeon Painter Studio, and they look fan-freaking-tastic. Thank you, Bahamut Zero Dragon. You are freaking awesome as well. Is there any more of these?
Yeah, if you guys want to hear more about Elderwood, and Guy's Game Mastery, and more sex talks with Jacob, come check us out on patreon.com/Saber.
Yes,
the After Dark Show.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to keep talking
Elderwood, I just feel like you're talking about me for some reason.
I mean, we are.
Just pin Urban Dictionary before you start the game.
Is that what your wife calls it?
Sponsored by Urban Dictionary.
Let's move forward, shall we? Let's.
Guys, if you want more of this, come watch the After Dark show because that's all this is.
Praise Jenks.
That's not what this is. Oh, okay. So, by the way, guys, real quick. So, obviously, yes, a quick pitch on the Patreon. Go check out the After Dark show. We are going to be doing theoretically, possibly, potentially, maybe, perhaps, we will be doing a Q&A at the end of tonight's session. So stick around for that. We probably will take a break after whatever events happen tonight. If some things happen, we don't know yet. So, and it's kind of, this might be the finale. We don't know. We might just run away from all this. So, yeah.
Hey,
so
I want to
stick around for
throw
the Q&A.
something out there, Cody.
Yeah, what's up?
We want to do a live show for you guys at Gen Con. If you guys are going to Gen Con, why don't you tweet at them, email them, I don't know, Facebook message them, every social media platform, say you want to see Saber Dice live, and let them know that you'd be interested in that, because I'm sure they want to know.
Yeah, seriously, we've already submitted. We haven't heard back yet. Come hell or high water, we're doing a show, but we want to put on a really good show, and we want to get a really nice room with you guys and enough space for everybody that we can all hang out and do Saber Dice things. I winked, but I realized I'm wearing sunglasses. So
it sounded really bad.
It was just as creepy.
It was just as creepy.
We want to get a really nice room with you guys to be able to show
all
you stuff.
together for the After Dark show.
No!
Yeah.
Guy SCLANDERS.
Yes.
The floor is yours, sir.
All right. Indeed it is. Cast your minds back to last week, where our intrepid heroes found themselves aboard a floating Dinosaur 5, with the great anvil directly in front of Drexus, ready to receive whatever magical artifacts he might try to forge within it. Scattered around on 4 towers are our other heroes of Dante, Lionel, Vankis, and Gwen. Draxus, in front of you is this large, swirling vortex of magical energy. And as you look down upon this platform where you will forge this heart, the apparition that has been appearing before you in the 4 previous towers suddenly appears and says, I forgot to get my notes. It says to you, yeah, he's old. He's old.
He's got the Elder Wood. I get it.
Yep. Damn you, man. Damn it.
He looks down at you with this gaze of one who will not be derailed, and he says, you have chosen to fight when virtue was at risk. You have chosen yourself when honor was called. You used magic to acquire your knowledge. And when you had to bring about sacrifice, you chose the dragon. Your companions will now face these tasks whilst you forge. Know this, if your companions leave the dais, the forging will be delayed. Are you prepared to face the final challenge of courage?
You mean to say that I stand here while they do the work for me? Yeah, I'm fine with that.
There's a slight grin on his ancient wizened features, and then suddenly he vanishes. This large crucible appears in front of you. The 4 of you standing on the platforms around the forge. Give me no, you don't even give me perception checks. You're standing looking at these spaces, and there are chains and manacles on the platforms. The chains link to the central dais, but the manacles are on your side. It looks as if potentially you could be chained in place here. At the moment, they are inert. That's what the 4 of you are seeing. Are you doing anything else?
Are we within like shouting distance from each other? I mean, I know we have the map out here, but like, are these like pillars floating and stuff around, or are these pretty stationary?
They're floating above the magical core, but you're only 30 feet apart from one another. So yes, you can certainly shout at each other.
Lionel, am I supposed to grab this chain?
Did they see me talking to the apparition?
They would have seen you, yes.
Okay.
What did he say, bruv?
This is the final challenge. The final countdown, if you will.
I think we got that part.
Yeah, I know. All the choices you made. Thank you. All of the choices you made in the previous rooms, you will now face again.
Draxas, I forgot what mine was.
Honor?
I'm kidding, bruv.
Oh.
We're going to be fine.
I mean, I hope so.
So we just stand here.
Yeah, don't fall off that thing.
What happens if we fall off?
I have to start over. And it takes longer.
Will I come back, or am I dead?
I hope so.
I
Instructions
really
were unclear.
Kind of want to test
When do we start?
I feel like... Is there anything on your platforms?
We got these chains, bruv.
Big old chains.
Yeah, I'm gonna shot in the dark here, but put them on.
I only have 2 chains.
That's all you need.
I don't understand.
Okay.
Hey, great game master. Can I grab one of my boomerangs and chuck it into the void? Maybe it'll come back. Don't go down there.
These chains, they have like manacles attached to them.
The chains do have manacles attached, yeah.
That's sexist.
I'm kind of like sniffing around my platform and pulling at these chains.
As a bear, you're pouring at the chains?
Yes. I don't have opposable thumbs.
I'm gonna heal myself up because I don't think anything to do with these chains is gonna be great for me.
All right.
I'm going to heal up as well.
I'm going to use a level 3 slot to do that. No, a level 2 slot.
I'm going to do 2 level 1 slots. Is Cure Wounds 2d8 or 1d8?
Cure light wounds or cure wounds?
Just cure regular wounds.
1d8.
1 to 8.
1d8 plus your.
Flashback saying cure light wounds. Ooh. Remembering 3.5.
Draxus, as this crucible forms in front of you, there is a brief flash of blue energy, and a note appears next to the crucible.
What does it say, Guy?
To whomever is using the forge, I found manacles make it so much faster. And then there is an activation word.
Did it sound like it was read in the voice of the nude guy?
Yes.
Perfect. Do I see manacles?
Not on your dais.
Perfect. I'm fine with that. Does it look like everyone else is putting the manacles on?
No. Lionel and Dante are busy chanting, and the bear looks as if it's looking for honey.
Guys,
Gwen, did you put the manacles on?
I'm sorry. We're talking to me.
Did you put the manacles on?
I don't think I've ever had anyone ask me that before. Yeah, and yes, she does. If everyone else is, she's a team.
No one
player.
else is.
Then no.
Am I supposed to put these on?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm thinking. Like I said, if you get knocked off, it starts over. So if you
How
were
long
manacles,
is the lead?
Wait, what are we doing? What's this entail? Are we gonna get like killed? Attacked?
I mean, the goal is to not get killed, but that's up to you, really.
Is it just going to shock us with like lightning or something?
No, you have to face all of the choices you made in the previous rooms. So, like, you, for instance, and he points to Gwen, has to assume a dragon. You,
Jesus.
and he points over to Venkus. I think you have to face magic. I don't know. That one's a little vague. You know, all the choices you made are going to come back. And if you get knocked off, we start over.
So I just got to get bowed to then.
I guess so.
Can I see how long this chain is? Like, if it were to be attached to me, can I estimate, like, would I be dangling and then climb back up and technically it doesn't get, like, what?
Yeah, so the chains run to the actual forge itself, not to the dais that you're standing on. So if you were to fall, you would hang below the central platform, and then you would be able to climb up. And it is only a 5-foot gap between the main dais and the floating platform, so you'd be able to jump back onto that platform without a problem.
Okay, but under the dais, what is there?
Empty
It
void.
looks like a sort of, well, there's a craggy, rocky face that looks like an inverted mountain of sorts that only goes down about 50 foot. And then below that, of course, is the actual center of the core, or at least what you think is the center of the magical core that holds the whole world together.
Yeah, I think Gwen kicks the manacles off to the side a little bit just so she doesn't trip over them, and just kind of crouches in case it's any type of like movement on it that would knock her off, and she's just pulls out her shield and her weapon.
Gotcha.
Guy, just to let you know, I already did it in Fantasy Grounds. I did 2 level 1 cure wounds and a level 3 cure wounds, and I killed myself to full.
Gotcha.
I don't want to be a stickler here, but it looks like it looks like if you don't have those on and you fall off,
You end up like the boomerang.
you die forever.
Yeah, oh, forever? Oh,
Yeah.
bad.
Wouldn't be the first time. I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
If I die, Gwen, don't come back as me, please.
I don't want to be inside you, so no worries there.
Unless you're going to be paying my debts.
I don't want to deal with all of your significant others that you left to die alone, so.
Do I dangle from the chains?
Click in 1 manacle on 1 foot.
If you fall off the plinth, you would dangle from chains.
Yeah, you would dangle if you fell off.
How much slack is there?
The chains connect to the center.
Correct.
Oh,
Yeah.
got it.
So if you fall off, you fall and then get
pull you
yanked,
back in.
and then you got to pull yourself up and jump back across.
Got
If
it.
you don't have the manacles on and you fall, you just fall forever.
All right, great, cool. Fantastic. I'm going to need these. Maybe I should put them on my legs so I can use my hands.
They do look like they could fit around ankles.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put them on my legs.
To put one on one of my.
I'm gonna walk over. I'm gonna look at
I'm just
Vegas.
sitting there, with my big bear rolls falling down around my lap.
I'm gonna look at Vegas and
trying to-
realize he's doing that and try to jump over there and help him if I can.
Sure. It's not difficult to jump over. The platforms aren't moving too much.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump over and hey buddy, I got you. Don't worry about this. And I'm gonna clap the manacles on his legs. And I'm gonna jump back. I can go damn bear.
Do you all right, so now it looks like everyone's putting theirs on.
Except for Gwen.
So Gwen, will you follow suit now?
Nope.
You're not putting yours on. All right. Perfect. Not a problem. Everybody else has.
She's not being a team player, is she? And I kind of shake my head in derision. And I pull out my rapier and dagger.
Do you have a key for those manacles?
I kind of look down. I did not think of that, bruv.
Yeah, I'm being more of a team player because at least I can come over there and cut your leg off so you can get out after.
I'm gonna take an odd pass at that. But thank you for the invitation.
Oh, you'll just have to cut off his hands because he used his hands. But I put my legs on.
One leg is all I did.
What? You did one leg?
I told Guy straight up. I put a manacle on
That's
one
why
leg.
I did 2 legs. Oh, maybe one leg would have been a better idea. Oops.
Do you use the activation word on the note?
Yeah, I use the activation word on the note.
Oh no.
Perfect. Okay, so Lionel, would you please, with disadvantage, give me a dexterity saving throw?
Neat.
I'm turning this on.
Okay. Come on, Fantasy Grounds. Come on, Fantasy
Are you
Grounds.
that guy that like says it after you've already done it?
Yeah, I said the word and then said it.
12.
Well, all right, roll a d8, please. 1 being the neck, everything else being lower down. The manacle suddenly launches up into the air and claps itself around your neck, resizing and refitting as necessary.
Oh no.
It's now clamped around your neck.
Well, that was unexpected.
Give me a constitution saving throw, please, Lionel. You can breathe. You can breathe. It's not choking. It's just, yes.
That's my
tight
Constitution
collar.
save.
All right. You feel this electric current passing through the chains, trying to freeze up your joints, but you manage to resist the tingling sensation. It doesn't go away. You just manage to resist it this round. Duntle is Dante and Lionel combined.
Duntle was my
That's what
father.
their child is actually going to be called, Duntle.
I like it. I don't like it.
You
Jack
just
Sunte.
Dante, would you please give me a Constitution saving throw as you are already wearing these chains?
Sure, I can do that. Fuck.
All right. As you are looking over at Lionel, wondering about your birth child, Duntle, the chains suddenly electrify and you are
He just face plants.
face plants. Gwen, you did not put the chains on. Would you please give me a dexterity saving throw?
Team spirit over here.
Oh.
Labor Day School.
Okay,
Favorite
so
dice for.
chain clamp around you. Roll a d8, please, for the first chain. The first chain clamps around
2 chains.
your left arm. Second chain. Instead of your left wrist.
You hear, not again.
And your right wrist. So both wrists are now clamped. Give me a Constitution saving throw, if you please. You are paralyzed as this electrical current surges through you. Bear, would you please give me a Constitution saving throw since you have both chains wrapped around you?
We all suck.
You are paralyzed as this voltage just courses through you, locking you in place.
We're here to save the world, guys.
Here to save the world.
Yikes.
Fuck.
Draxus, you notice that the chains are all now stiff, and at the end of them are 3 very, very, very immobile individuals, and then Lionel.
Looks like you got the login of that stick.
It's all the honey, bruv. Ugh, and I'm kind of still fighting from the like tingling.
Yep.
All right, I'm starting now.
I told you it was going to shock me.
It's probably going to get worse.
Whose neck is it around?
Lionel's.
Lionel.
I'm imagining my jaws being clenched as like electricity is pulsing in the
Yeah.
molecule. If we live through this, bruv, I'm going to kill you. You're not going to have to fake your own death. Ugh. As he's like grunting against it.
Who's faking it? What?
Is Gwen like paralyzed or like and can't speak or just can't move?
Paralyzed. So you can't speak, you can't move. It's quite debilitating. Draxus, this crucible is in front of you. What are you doing with it?
How do I activate this thing, guy?
You suspect you need to add the 3 stones that you have collected into the crucible first, traditionally to melt it down, and then you will pour that into the mold that you have with you. And
he's going to make adventurer stew.
So the rod that I have, right, the tube, contains all 3 stones. I assume I've done enough research to know how to remove those stones from there.
Yeah, basically, remember there were those activation, the amber buttons on it?
Yes.
Press all 3 of them, and that will release the stones in their original.
So I do so, and I empty the stones into the forge, and I assume that despite it being enormous, we've been slowly dragging around the mold of the Heart of Brax.
Yeah. It's one of those things.
Okay, and I assume this is some kind of like, right, this is where you kind of mold metal and it pours down into the thing, right? So there's some kind of emplacement.
Yeah. The crucible first, you would push that back into the actual forge itself,
and then would melt the stones down,
and then yes, you would bring it out,
tip it. Okay,
correct.
Perfect. I begin doing that.
All right.
I assume there's also tools for this of some kind around here.
They appear as you need them. Yes.
Okay.
As you discharge the 3 stones, they sort of clink down into this ethereal crucible, and there's this green glow that emanates from them. The moment that happens, on all 4 of the platforms next to each one of you, this large portal window opens up. And it opens up in such a way that even though you're paralyzed, you can see it. And what you are seeing is the Tower of Va, but it is in ruins. And this, again, all 4 of you are seeing this. As you are looking at it, it's as if you're standing where Sartoon traditionally would drop you off, just outside on the side of that bridge. And this very large orc lumbers past, carrying this incredibly spiked club. And then several more walk past, and then several more walk past, all heading towards that bridge. All 4 of you can give me perception checks, please.
I'm facing the ground. I'm still making that perception check.
Were you on the ground?
Yeah, I'm paralyzed.
Yeah, you don't fall. Sorry, you don't.
Just stay there
in place. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
In place. All right. Pretty much everybody.
Wait, hang on. I got to figure out where my ability skills. Found it. There it is. That's the best perception roll I've ever rolled.
There we go. All 4 of you see beyond the bridge Leslie, Irwith, Al-Kazim, Donkey, and the kids forming a protective circle around one another, holding out what little weaponry they can as these orcs arrive. And you can see in the distance another one of those orc metal containers slowly drifting down underneath its balloon, ready to discharge more orc warriors. Lionel, as you're the only one who can move, you get a sense that you could potentially step through this portal.
He's kind of like gritting over there, and like his instincts, he's just, and he starts to take a step forward towards the portal, almost reaching out for it, and he
The
looks
chain's just short.
he looks back over at Draxus, and he kind of steps back from the portal.
All right. That's
Get
what you're
back to
doing.
work, bruv!
Dante, you can give me a Constitution saving throw.
Shoot.
Still paralyzed. You are watching these orcs now start to amass at the edge of the bridge. Gwen, you can give me a Constitution saving throw. As the sound of some badly played, badly manufactured bagpipes starts to drift out of the portal, you think you can hear what's going on. And it just sounds like you are at a motorcycle rally where these engines are going off, except the engines are orc war calls as they shout at one another and sort of quite literally are revving each other up for this titanic battle, just going off around them. But you are no longer frozen. The chains are still around you, but you are no longer paralyzed. What are you doing?
That's what I can hear coming from the portal by Lionel.
But next to you. Each one of you got a portal.
Next to me. Okay. Can I look in?
Yeah, you can see the scene that's happening. You want to try to stick your head in?
No. I think she's just kind of hanging out. She knows that we have to stay here, and that's pretty much what we're supposed to be doing. And she doesn't know otherwise. So she's doing what she's told. She's not going to go anywhere that Draxus isn't. So.
Gotcha. Vankus, give me a Constitution saving throw, if you please. You are no longer paralyzed.
So are you familiar with the Looney Tune character Foghorn Leghorn? I do full bear gallop, 50 foot of movement, maxing out as fast as I can, heading towards the portal.
You take 8 damage as the chains suddenly go taunt and stop you about 5 foot from the edge of the portal.
Shoot. Totally freaking out.
Yeah, you literally can see Leslie. She's standing on some ruined steps in the middle of the circle, and she's busy pointing frantically, trying to get the kids to move bits of stone to make barriers and the like.
Draxus, who is normally like a shitty dude, looks over actually angry at Vankus and just sort of shouts across the abyss, "If we fail, they all die anyway. Stay still." And he goes back to pouring the crucible into the mold.
You briefly see Vankus's form shimmer, and then solidify and stays the bear.
As you sort of strain against the chains, the stones melt quite quickly into this remarkable emerald green liquid, which you get a sense would be super hot, but that is not emanating off of the forge at all. As you pull the crucible out with this liquid in, suddenly the forge changes shape, magically kind of shedding its outer form, almost like rose petals falling to the ground and dissolving, and reshaping itself into, again, it looks like a claw, which is designed to hold the mold of the heart itself.
Okay. Yeah, he lifts this. He struggles because he's not a strong boy, and lifts and places the heart in there.
Absolutely. You place the heart into this clawed space, and you're getting ready to now load up or pour the green liquid into it. Lionel, back to you. You watch as the orcs now charge across the bridge.
He doesn't.
You look away?
He can't. There's no way that he could sit there and watch this scene. He kind of turns, and if I can still move, yeah. I will literally like turn my back as far and get as far away from this portal as I can, so I don't hear anything coming from it. And I will try to like cover my. I can't listen to children dying, so Lionel will just cover his ears and grit his teeth and tell himself that it's going to be okay. We've got to do this, and he's just not gonna focus on a scene of all these kids that we've saved and cherished and loved just being brutally murdered. There's no way that he would watch that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Your challenge is that when you turn, you're seeing the other portals and you're hearing the sound in almost quadraphonic stereo, to use an ancient old sound term. But there are 4 portals, so there's 4 sources of audio coming through. You stepped onto the virtue dais, is that correct? Or were you on the honor dais? I can't remember. I think you were virtue.
He was the first one, so virtue.
Yeah, I was the very first one. I was the one with that they had to kneel to me, is what we came back.
Lionel was virtue. I was honor.
Gotcha. All right.
Somebody was the nature one.
Venkis was knowledge.
Venkis was knowledge, and then Gwen is
sacrifice.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. So you are looking away from this whole thing. You are just trying to block out the sounds because you hear this singing, which reminds you of a particular song that you and Dante used to sing with the kids, starting to sound out against the screaming of the orcs as they are charging forward. Dante, what are you doing?
I'm paralyzed on the ground, and I can see this happening. Yeah.
Yep.
He's just laying there, trying to move an attempt to he's taking everything in, but he sees Lionel kind of sitting there knowing what he has to do, and Venkis as well, and he's really trying not to get up and move, and he kind of accepts that the fact that he can't move is good because he would have ruined everything. So he'll kind of just fail the con saves on his own and just like, I'll stay paralyzed because otherwise I would level up right now and go into Barbarian and Rage. So he'll just lay there and take it.
You're not fighting against it. All right.
Nope.
Interesting. You are lying there not fighting against it. Gwen?
I think Gwen she's definitely not, in her head, she's like, I've trained the kids. This may not be what's actually happening. It's probably just she's trying to like strategize. But I think she's just standing there kind of looking at the various portals and just kind of taking it all in. And she's looking up and shaking her head and just standing there trying to keep her cool. So she's just kind of pacing in the center of her dais.
Sure. So dragging the chains around with you. Got you. Venkis?
So Venkis is at the very edge of the chains are taut. He's just kind of like kicking his legs and rearing up and roaring and slashing at the air and slashing at the ground and making as much noise as possible with his anguished animal screams.
Absolutely. And they perhaps rise in fever pitch as you see the first orc starting to plow into the cluster of kids. Yes, the children definitely have training, but these are giant orcs who have bloodlust and been in battle for decades. And it's the first child dies almost instantaneously with the first swing of the orcish weapon. Eowith immediately launches forward to try and close the gap. But even though she's very acrobatic, she takes out one orc. There's 2 others which kind of grab her from either side and catch hold of her. Yep, they grab her and start dragging her down, and you see the orcs kind of clustering around her as she is overpowered. Drax, as you pour the liquid into the mold of the heart, and although you don't suspect that these 3 little green crystals would have enough liquid, as you pouring into the mold, it just fills and fills and fills and fills and fills and fills until eventually it bubbles out of the top, indicating that it is now completely full. As that happens, the crucible vanishes into these sort of shards of energy. And the heart then starts to glow. The actual casing starts to glow around it. You doing anything? Just watching?
I think I'm just watching at this point.
All right. Lionel still ears cupped, refusing to watch?
he's kind of unable to drown all this out, and so I just want to do a quick little roll here to see how he's going to react. We're going to go odds and evens on this. Yeah, so he's not handling this well. He's going to try to just bolt over back towards the portal, and he's going to see one of the kids, whatever kid is in the back, and he's going to do. He has nothing that he can do to get through this, so he's going to try to cast levitate on the kid through the portal to see if he can't just raise one of them up to the highest tower till he can figure out how to get there and save him. But just try to lift one of the kids up out of the slaughter.
As you launch yourself forward as close as you can to this portal, you're sort of reaching out with your hand, desperate to try and touch or try and get to this point. You're throwing levitate out. What levitate spell do you... Well, you're throwing it out. Which kid are you choosing? Anyone in particular? You can see Jarvie is busy standing there, busy slashing with this rather crude blade.
I'm gonna pick the... Unfortunately, he's got to go with statistics here. He's gonna go with the one in the whatever the smallest child is in the back, and he's gonna that is the furthest away from the fighting, and he's gonna try to just save the smallest and youngest child up and out of there.
Gotcha.
And I will spend a level 3 spell slot to do that because I don't have any level 2s left.
All right. Would you please give me a concentration check?
Sure. That's just D20 plus con mod.
Yep.
All right. 15.
15. The child reaches up into the air, busy sort of swinging and not knowing what the hell is going on.
There's no way that this is an illusion. Jesus. He's going to keep concentrating and try to just lift him 20 feet up in the air. And I have stuff I want to do on the next round. But yeah, he's kind of come to the realization that this is... My magic worked through the portal. This is really happening.
Lionel, still voluntarily frozen. The cries of the bear are almost worse than human cries because it's an animal in such anguish.
I think you meant Dante, right?
I did mean Dante. Sorry.
I was like, sorry. Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm still paralyzed. Do I need to make the save?
If you're going to try and resist it.
Yeah, at this point he would.
You're like, I'm not paralyzed.
Shit.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
So there's portals everywhere?
There's a portal right next to you. Well, relatively right next to you.
I'm going to yell out to Draxus and say, what is this? Is this real? What do we do?
I told you, you stay on the thing. Every time you leave, we start over.
I throw a boomerang at one of the orcs.
Make an attack roll.
Oh, shit. It's just +2.
Wow.
Hold on,
You
Jacob.
throw it, and as it enters the portal, it kind of wobbles and changes direction and just sort of spins out over the battlefield and then lands in the middle of the circle. One of the children kind of picks it up, and you can see this moment where there's this grin on their faces, and they start shouting, "They're coming for us!"
Ah, fuck.
As he sort of holds up the boomerang.
Shoot. I'm going to do that on my next turn.
Gwen,
Because that's it on my turn.
what you doing, Gwen?
If I yell out to one of the children, can they hear me and see the portal? Or it's a one-way type deal?
Give it a try. You don't have to make a roll for it. You can just shout. But what are you saying?
She's just gonna yell out. What's the kid? The oldest kid?
Javi.
Javi. Yeah, she's probably yelling out to Javi, just yelling his name to see if he can hear her. Because Lionel obviously affected whatever, either the illusion or the actual, people.
As you shout out Javi, oh boy, he's lucky. He looks up as if he heard the cry, and the orc next to him just brings down this mace, but completely misses, and Jarvie kind of ducks and rolls out of the way, kind of coming up, holding his blade, ready to parry against this big orc who's squaring up against him.
Can I roll an intimidation?
Sure, against the orc?
Yeah. She's going to let out a guttural roar you guys have never heard her make as she just bangs her shield as loud as she can and kind of looks around for the rest of them to do the same in here.
So cool.
Go for it.
That's awesome.
7 dice 4. Oh, 7 dice 4s. Let's see those 4s in chat.
As you let out this guttural roar thing, which is kind of weird because you're standing 5 foot away from the actual portal and you're kind of banging your shield, and I mean it's not the greatest of roars ever, given that there's maybe a bit of a tremble in your voice. However, the three of you, Dante, Lionel, and Vankus, you hear emanating out of the portal the most deafening and bestial of roars that you have ever heard. And it seems to just stop everybody for a second. The orcs kind of they all look up in terror and look around. The kids, Leslie, even Scratches kind of is desperately looking up, his ears absolutely flat as this terrific sound echoes out. The portal in front of you, Gwen, vanishes.
She already used her action, but she's just looks around to the rest of the group, confused, trying to look in their portals.
Vankus, what are you doing?
The same. I'm just roaring at it and just in frustration and anger.
Absolutely. You continue to roar in frustration and anger. For a moment, you see everybody had stopped, kind of looking for where this terrific sound came from. And then not sort of seeing it, a very well-placed arrow from Leslie. She's been using a bow that she's found from somewhere. A very well-placed shot kind of penetrates one of the orcs, causing him to fall over. And then the battle resumes, and the orcs just lay back into the kids and into the group. Al-Kazim is busy holding up one of his books that an orc axe just sort of slams into and knocks him flat. You can see Surak and Atnim Kasim have formed a little duo, and they're sort of doing this weird Tin Man dance as they
awesome.
block off the attacks from the orcs. Draxus, the heart mold, suddenly melts into liquid bronze and pours off of the edges of the dais, revealing this perfect green, almost human-looking heart, except that it's maybe 4 times the size of a human heart. And the apparition appears in front of you and says, "You must describe an owner for the heart." And a chisel and a hammer appear in front of you.
Draxus nods and he reaches down and he picks up the hammer in one hand, picks up the chisel in the other hand, and he looks around to everybody and he says, "This is the final step." And he begins to chisel a name.
All right, we're going to come back to you. Lionel, what are you doing?
It's
Okay,
Dantel.
I have a question. So Gwyn's portal disappeared, but you said there's the 4 portals around each of us. So it's like, do I see all 4 portals?
One
Okay,
portal each.
okay, I
There's
understand.
3 portals left. Sorry.
Okay, I understand. I didn't know if like we each had our own portal, but they each appeared around like there was 4, 4, 4, 4 kind of vibe. So, all right, I have a feature called Words of Terror, which lets me infuse innocent-seeming words with insidious magic that can inspire terror. So I speak Orcish, knowing that Dante and I go way, way back, and levitating this child out of here, I will look into the portal and hearing her boom and how echoey it is, and I will try to sweetly inspire some terror. Brakusungadar Dardust Simbokandar Findor Barosungan Dindard. And I will sweetly tell them that they are encroaching on Bragan, son of Draelis. territory of the Black Feathers, and that the children are their slaves, and all property will be compensated for with each of their own lives and the lives of their children and the lives of their children's children.
Nice.
And then a distance, I yell, "Yeah, Bandung Karonsel."
You do they get a saving throw against that spell?
They do. They do. My spell DC, which is at this point 8 plus 4 plus 3, 11, 15. And it is a charisma save. No, wisdom, excuse me. Wisdom, thank God, against orcs. Wisdom's save DC 15. I can only target one humanoid, and I have to speak at it for at least a minute. So I'm going to keep doing that and trying to fear terror at him. But I'm hoping that the loud booming will be heard by all.
Sure. Give me a perception check, if you please. I'm going to give you a bit of a...
Yeah, sure.
Because the orc failed.
That's a 16?
You targeted the biggest orc you could see, because you assumed that would be the war chief with this particular spell. He has completely failed his saving throw. He rolled a save or dice 4.
Thank God. In the finale.
He is listening to this voice. You're not sure yet, because it takes a whole minute to take effect.
Yeah, and I'm hoping the thought process is that since I had to be bowed to, because I'm virtuous, of course, clearly with my character, that this would inspire them to treat me as such, as a big chieftain leader and worthy of my nobility of being bowed to.
He looks super distracted as he's slaughtering these kids for a minute.
Yeah.
Give me an insight check.
All right. That's the thing I can do. That's as high as I can roll. 23.
That's one way of getting people to bow down to you, but you're not convinced that that's the spirit in which the room had intended the virtue, the tribute to being expressed. Think about that for a little bit. Dante. What are you doing?
They're fighting, right? And there's a roar going on. I look at the portal.
Yes.
And I noticed that thing I just did worked. So without aiming, I'm going to take my last boomerang and my axe and chuck it in the portal.
What, just kind of throw them in?
I'm going to throw them in. I'm not aiming for anything. I just throw them in there in hopes the kids will pick them up. Towards the kids. They're trying to not throw them towards the orcs.
All right, so you throw an axe and a boomerang at the children.
Not just an axe. My axe.
Your axe. Okay.
And my bow. And my whatever.
Right. Roll me a percentile chance, if you please, because the kids not expecting random weaponry to just drop out of the sky. No, they're okay. You don't hit any of the children.
Just axe one of the kids.
Yeah. As your magnificent war axe lands next to one of the kids, let's just do that. Oh, okay. So it lands next to one of the smaller of the kids, and he sees it. And the moment he sees that, he realizes it's your axe and screams out your name. He's like, Dante! And he has interpreted this the wrong way.
I cry tears of sadness, but I don't say anything.
As he sort of picks up the axe tenderly and cradles it as if he's just realized what's going on. The boomerang lands next to the little girl. She grabs it. She looks at it. She gets really fierce look on her face. And, wow, she sends that sucker straight into the face of an orc, knocking him dead to the ground.
Okay, as a bonus action, I'm going to use my ability that is listed in my class things called Be Proud. And I use that as a bonus action.
You are proud?
Yes. Yeah. It uses my whole bonus action, though. So don't have that anymore.
What does it do?
I'm proud. Yeah, Dante feels proud. That's it.
That's it? Mechanically, you just get to feel proud?
Yep. I wrote it in.
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, it's my own homebrew ability. I was hoping I could just use it right then. Yeah, that's what he does.
There you go. There you go. All right.
Yep.
You are proud for a moment.
Look at it.
Yep.
This bit is too long. Move to the next one.
Gwen.
Shit.
Give me a perception check.
Well played, Lord.
She's
Well
watching
played.
this idiot struggle with their portals. It's just not help. Perception check, you said?
Yep.
Oh, man. Okay.
God, I could use a cigarette right now. I'm just saying. Really badly.
Oh, wow. All right. You can see that Draxus is starting to carve a name onto the heart. You can't see what he's carving there.
She'll yell out to Draxus. Does he keep going? Or does he just...
Well, what are you yelling out?
Just goes, ah!
No, she'll just... Draxus, trying to get his attention because he's carving it. And she'll just... She's
busy
just
right
kind of
now.
on... She's on the edge, kind of looking. This event isn't timed, so just a second of your time, maybe? What are you doing there?
I told you it's the final step. I have to carve in the name.
And what are you carving for the rest of us that are fighting portals?
The name of the god.
Which god?
This one.
And he points to the nothing that's there.
Yeah, which one?
Stop distracting him. He has to use both hands.
Call it by name.
Thank you. I don't know, what is it? Brax? The one that Barnabas liked. Tink.
I don't know who that is, but okay. Can I insight check him?
Are you lying?
Absolutely, I'm lying.
Oh, no, Mike! Oh, that's Civilized 4!
Oh my god!
The Civilized 4!
She yells out, he's lying. The one he was sent to do this for. The one who was going to bring back Jenks. He is who he is carving.
Nope. Still wrong.
Is that? Can I insight check
You can
him?
insight that one.
Yeah, she doesn't know.
Nope, he is
Isn't
not.
Brax
he is
your
not,
father?
He's not carving that
Right.
guy's name.
What are we doing?
We're fixing everything.
Tink. I'm so confused.
She looks to Lionel. I told you, you can trust me to keep him alive, but I can't do anything from here.
I nod. And I look back at the portal. It's not my turn yet, though. I think it's Vankus.
Gwen raises her shield in front and looks as if she's going to throw her Morning Star.
All right.
At Draxus?
Yep.
Oh my god. What is happening?
Fuck.
What is happening?
Fuck.
That's her turn. She's like, what do we think? And she waits.
Vankus, what are you doing?
Vankus, slams his forepaws on the stone in front of him
Sure.
and lets out a low growl. And through the haze of the rage of the beast, he remembers that he's something more. And his form begins to melt as he turns back into this scrawny human and lets out and bellows, "Ah!" and summons a pack of wolves to unleash upon the orcs.
Nice.
Really?
Perfect.
As you summon these wolves upon the orcs, it's not just 8 wolves that appear. It appears to be 38 wolves that just suddenly erupt, and they're all twice the size that they normally are. They just start biting into these orcs and sort of flicking them sideways. The orcs are in complete disarray as these mega wolves suddenly appear. Your portal vanishes, Vankus. As you complete that.
As it vanishes, he just whispers, "Leslie."
You don't get to see what happens to her, sadly. The last you see is she's busy wrestling with one of these orcs before the wolves sort of appear suddenly. Draxus, you are busy carving a name there. Just drop it into chat for me to see what name you're carving in, if you please.
Into the public
Into the
chat.
public?
Into the public,
No, in the
so we can all
private
see.
chat, please,
No,
private chat. None of you get to see it yet.
This is a load of barnacles. I just want
There
to
you go. There you go.
It's a
All right.
load of
It
Barnabas.
does take you a little bit of time, so you are now 3 letters in.
Okay.
You are 3 letters in.
He
R.
does look to Lionel. Oh shit! You gave. Oh yeah, he does look to Lionel, and he takes one hand off. He tink, and then takes one hand off, and he reaches down and pulls out something while holding the hammer, and it's a coin. And he looks to Lionel and says, "I've got this one," and he puts it back, and tink, tink, tink begins writing the 4th letter.
Lionel, what you doing?
It literally changed everything that I was about to do in just that split moment. So
That's why there's a smile on Draxus's face right now.
I have to trust him. I have to trust him. And so he'll turn back to Gwen. I'm sorry. And he will cast Shatter into the midst, realizing that everything amplifies there inside the portal. Like, I think that's what he thinks. She yelled, it amplified it. He sent wolves, it amplified it. So he's going to cast Shatter like the biggest fucking shatter this world has ever seen, right into the center of all those orcs and wolves.
Okay. Try and cast Shatter into this space.
He's going to totally give up trying to intimidate that guy and just cast Shatter in here and let Draxus finish carving.
Right, you are. You do see Gwen about to throw her Morning Star into the back of Draxus's head.
She's holding it, right?
No, it was with intent, right, Gwen?
She has her arm in the launch position with her shield, using it for momentum. And she said, say the word, or
yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize that. Dude, this is such a terrible decision, but there's too much to gamble. There's too much to gamble here. He runs and he jumps onto the center column. And he resets the puzzle.
Well, you run and try and jump into the center column.
You said we
Would
were
you
all...
please give me
we
a
were
Constitution saving throw.
chained to the center column, right?
Correct.
Okay. I don't have a point of inspiration, do I? All right, I'll do it. Constitution save.
I don't use inspiration in my games.
That's a 19, sir.
That's a 19. As you launch forward, the chains immediately stiffen and try and hold you in place on your dais, preventing you from getting across. But even though it's electrocuting you and trying to paralyze you, it does not work. And the magic around the chains doesn't hold. So you land on the dais next to Draxus. Draxus, as you strike again with the chisel, suddenly the chisel makes no impact on the stone, on the heart. The previous one's there, but it doesn't seem to have any weight behind it now.
I don't know how much of my movement that took.
That was your movement, yeah?
Okay. Yeah, I want to continue to roll up and try to hold the hands up and point. I'm going to kind of do this at Gwen and point, look at Draxus and point to Gwen. So that he sees that she's about to smash his skull in.
Oh, I see.
Right. I'm going to point over at Gwen. So I'm like, hey, she's going to crush your face in from the backside, and then you'll die. So I'm going to kind of point to get his attention over there.
Gotcha.
It's not my turn.
Dante?
Fuck. I'm going to shoot. Hang on one second. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50.
Your chains will only allow you to go 25 foot in either direction.
Can I run, and can I also jump on this?
Give me a Constitution saving throw as you try and leave the platform. As you launch, the chains stiffen and you find yourself held in midair. You're still free to move the chains around you, but they're almost acting now as a brace against moving forward.
How far am I from Gwen? What's my distance?
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 feet.
40 feet?
Yeah, 40, 45 feet, somewhere around that.
I'm going to cast, and while I'm casting it, I'm going to yell, and I'm going to say, we have to trust Draxus. We don't have a choice. And I'm going to cast Hold Person on her.
Gwen, give me a wisdom saving throw.
Fuck. It's like every session of Saber Dice now.
She had to beat a 13.
You are held. You can tell you are magically held by Dante.
I'm sorry. He just yells. He's like, I'm sorry.
It is now your turn, Gwen. You are held under the hold person. She gets a saving throw at the end of the round. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Right.
It's a 13. It's a 13.
Sure. For this round, there's nothing you can do except internally.
Oh my goodness.
I had to send you a quick message because
I got the message. What are you saying?
Oh, my goodness. Oh God.
She will. You just see her close her eyes for a moment, and her lips move, but you can't hear anything. She is summoning her father. I'm gonna tell on you.
She can do that?
All that you get back. You are stronger than this, daughter.
Oh my God.
You can make your wisdom saving throw with advantage. Well, the first one beats it. You're no longer held. You're freed.
That's my action, right?
Yeah, it is. The three of you, I suppose, notice that the Morning Star seems to be glowing now with this very brilliant yellow energy. Vankus.
Vankus is trying to look through one of the other portals to see what's going on.
Sure. From where you are, you have to strain your eyes because the only two that are still open are the ones for Lionel and Dante. But yes, you look over the one behind Dante, you can see that it looks as if Leslie has taken a rather bad cut to her shoulder. She is busy being defended by Scratches, who's standing there. He's basically just bucking and kicking at any orc that comes nearby. But as you watch, you see he kicks out at one orc, and then another one just drives a spear through his flank, causing him to call out. That's what you're seeing. The wolves are obviously just destroying these orcs as well. It looks as if the battle is starting to shift in the favor of the survivors of Sartun.
I just keep concentrating on the wolves. Finish it, Draxus. Make it done.
That's what you're shouting, Draxus.
Professional streamer, Mike.
I can't hear you over
I just muted instead of unmuted. I can't carve anything while Lionel's standing here.
Nope.
But he has made me aware of some shit that's going down. And he looks over his shoulder at Gwen and then at Lionel and says, I can't do this while you're here. And I whisper something, and I think Lionel probably sees, maybe everyone does, but you see the lights, the runes light up on like his neck and head. And if Lionel's paying attention, Balasar is behind Gwen.
Okay.
Ooh.
I will give you a Balasar.
I grant thee a Balasar.
I think he also gets his own initiative.
All right. Balasar appears behind Gwen. There you go. What is Balasar doing?
He's just hovering there for now, being inconvenient.
He's just hovering and being inconvenient.
Yeah.
Back to the top of the round, Lionel.
Okay, I'm going to use my movement to move up to finish, like, rolling up next to Draxus.
You can't get that close. The chains pull you back. They get you the closest you can get to is about 5, 10, 15, 20. It's about to there.
I can't get any close enough to see the first 3 letters on this fucking thing.
You can try and stretch around. Give me a perception check.
Don't spoil yourself, Lionel. Don't spoil it. Let it happen. Let it happen. No, it doesn't. Let it happen.
Not if the world ends.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's a 12.
The 12. The first letter that you can kind of see. It's difficult, but it looks like it starts with a curve. It looks more curved and straight.
I always knew it would end with me killing your character, Mike. I'm going to move up. There's nothing I can do with these fucking chains, and I'm on the wrong side. I cast levitate on Mike.
Remember the coin.
I know the coin, but things are going crazy right now. All right?
Just saying, remember the coin.
You're not going according to plan.
You don't know that. No one knows the word that was supposed to be carved.
I look over at Draxus. Draxus!
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like frantic, looking, between the portals, and I'm shifting over to Gwen, who's held, and Dante's like, I'm sorry! And what do you carving, bruv? It don't look like no B to me.
Yeah, it's not.
Really?
I'm fixing this. And that's what he says.
I have to cast Levitate on him now. I have to cast Levitate on him now.
Okay.
I'll cast Levitate. It's a 15. And it's a... I don't think... let me just double check. It's a weird thing for Levitate, because it's such a weird thing to use offensively. It is a... I'm so sorry, gentlemen. It's a Constitution saving throw.
There's that horn. Wow.
That's a thing on the show.
Lifting up into the air.
I lift him 20 feet up. What are you carving, bruv?
The right name.
I thought we were supposed to be carving this up for Brax.
We were.
I assume that'll be the end of my turn. I'm going to let everybody else kind of...
Dante?
I cast a spell magic on Draxus.
Holy shit.
And I look over at Lionel and I say, I don't care what he's writing. We've gotten this far and we have to trust him.
You cast a spell
magic. You can't undo everything now. You have to let him do it. Yeah, I cast a spell magic. There's no save. It just dispels the magic.
It is a level 3 spell.
And so is Dispel Magic.
Dispel Magic, I think, does 3 or down.
That's it.
Holy shit.
You fall 20 feet.
I slowly descend.
I don't think so, because it got dispelled. There's no magic to float you down. You're probably going to drop.
Yeah, you're probably going to drop. All right, so you drop. You're going to take a d6 point damage. So you take 2 points damage as you land hard on the stone. You're right. Spell. It's not disengage. So you've thrown out that spell, Dante. Are you doing anything else?
I look over at Lionel and say, get back on the platform and let him do what he needs to do.
Not a chance, bruv. We don't know what he's doing. Why not take a few moments to make sure it's going to be the right thing?
Because we don't have those moments. Do you want to fight? Do you want to be enemies, Lionel? We've come this far.
Dante, don't make me do something you're not going to like.
Fight me.
Everyone's dying while you waste time. I'm going to rip you apart.
I agree with Vankus.
I will feast on your entrails.
Who are you saying that to, Vankus?
Lionel.
Lionel. Is Gwen still frozen?
No.
No.
What are you writing, Draxus?
I told you.
Don't take the right name.
It's the name of the right god. If I write Brax, everything stays the same way it was.
Gwen, what are you doing? Gwen?
I have no idea what's happening.
In a very limited. Oh, I see. She could maybe say a sentence, but that's about it. If you wanted to do that, Gwen.
I think Gwen throws down her shield and she takes her shield and weapon and throw them off the edge.
They tumble off the edge down into the core. There is a spectacular flash of brilliant white light as the mace disappears into the center.
Gwen sort of almost defeatedly falls to her knees looking down. And can Draxus see through his eyes?
I mean, I can see.
He's behind. Your back's to me.
Oh.
Okay. I think she just falls to her knees, and the only thing that you hear sort of whispers, and her demeanor changes a little bit, and she just. You guys have come so far. I'd hate for this all to end, but it should be better. We could be better than this. I trust you, Draxus, with a familiar voice, as she picks her head back up and stands back to her feet, and she looks around for her weapons.
That voice was the voice of Jenks, in case that wasn't clear.
I don't know what's going on.
Draxus?
Lionel, you see Draxus turn to you, and everyone's sort of enraged at you. And he begins to lift the hammer, and he says, "This was for her." And he begins to strike down, hoping you'll move. I'm basically going to hold my action until Lionel moves, I can keep striking this
got
thing.
a pretty good idea what that is now.
As you're holding your action, a voice says to you, "Do you require assistance to finish your task, Draxus?"
No. And he looks to Lionel. He looks up to nothing and then looks to Lionel after he says no.
All right. Lionel. What you doing?
Draxus, just tell me what you're carving, bruv. I deserve that much. And I kind of point to, like, we're in the middle of the fucking earth. Like, trust goes both ways. Like, tell me what you're carving.
Man. Can I move, guy?
Yeah.
Okay. He'll move over to Lionel and then lean in real close, and he whispers what he's carving. And then walks back.
Oh my god.
You can private message that
I'm waiting
to Lionel.
to see what he does.
Oh my god. Ah. Hey Dave, how's it going? How's it going, Dave? How you doing, man?
Makes us feel better. I don't know.
Just
There ain't no whiteout.
We don't know shit party.
He's kind of leaned into me, and he's whispering to me, and Lionel kind of looks back with like an understanding, and he kind of gives him like a pat on the back of the head, and then he drives his rapier through Drax's heart.
Make your attack. It'll be awfully awkward if it's a 4.
Holy shit!
I'm going to Psychic Blades that.
A natural 20.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
I'm going to Psychic Blades that. And that's going to throw another...
You take 31 damage.
I am still alive.
On 31 damage?
I have 36 health.
I follow up with my dagger.
Oh, a 19.
You got it.
I don't think I can get there with this.
No, you cannot.
34, but you do need to make a Constitution saving throw as you took massive damage in one hit.
Sure. Constitution saving throw. 16.
Your blood is high. You refuse to go down. So you've taken, what, 34 damage?
34 damage. Holy shit.
And as I kind of like reel back from him, I'm hoping he's staggered and bloodied and surprised. And, why, Draxus? Why did you betray us all? You're going to end the world! Dante! Dante, he's going to end it!
Dante, over to you. You can see blood is spraying out of Draxus. It's all over Lionel, who's holding these bloodied weapons.
He looks back and forth, and I say, "Why'd you stab him?"
Look at the word, Vankas!
Vegas can't read.
I get it.
7 V. There's a 9er in there.
Good. What are you doing, Lionel? Dante.
I look at Lionel and I look at Draxus. I don't know what to do.
Your best friend in the whole world has just told you that you've been betrayed.
I know, but still.
I'm sorry, Mike. I still.
What's he writing? What's he going to write?
Is going to end it all, Dante.
Why, Draxus?
I'm not ending anything. I'm fixing everything.
I can't believe that didn't kill you.
Yeah, me neither.
Fuck.
Dante doesn't know what to do.
Behind you, you hear a scream coming from the portal. Do you look?
Yep.
Adnim Kasim has just been cut in half by one of the orcs, and Sirac is sort of crying out in absolute loss and sadness as he sort of rushes over to Adnim's broken body. An orc about to attack Sirac is taken out by one of the wolves, but there's another orc that is now just sort of striding over towards Sirac, who just is oblivious to the battle around him. He's dropped to his knees, cradling the remains of the dying Adnim Kasim.
I'll turn back over and I'll look at the two of them and I say, I don't care if he ends all of it. I don't care if he saves all of it. If he stops that from happening, then I don't care. I'm not doing anything else.
Gwen?
She's got a clear line of sight to what he's been writing.
Can I see?
Give me a perception check.
Oh, please. Everybody watching, I'm going to tell you. I swear, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
He has so far written G-E-S-H.
Can I buy a vowel?
You cannot.
She looks up, smiling ever so slightly, creeping across her face. Fuck you. She looks to Lionel, get back on your pedestal, and she casts Moonbeam on him.
Daughter, you hear, everyone hears this just echoing across the entire space. You throw out Moonbeam against Lionel?
Yeah, that's a Constitution saving throw, or you're going to take 2d10 radiant damage.
Jesus Christ.
It's an area of effect, right?
But it's a 5-foot column, though.
Yeah, I get to put it behind him.
Gotcha.
Pretty much any area that's on that side of the center, so that he has to.
I fail.
Yeah.
I need you to make it's a Constitution saving throw. Gwen, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw as well, please.
This is so crazy.
That's
God. Gwen, no.
All right, so you take 11 points of damage, Lionel. Gwen, you take 22 points of damage.
Oh, shit.
And
You're
you
fine.
hear, I will not be defied, daughter. Do your duty.
She spits blood at him in that general direction that she hears the voice from.
Draxus,
Man, this shit's getting crazy. Fuck me. Yeah, I look to Lionel and I say, go back.
Come on, push him back. You got Eldritch Blast.
I know.
Twice.
What does Lionel do?
You're confident that he's. Oh, I'm not muted, right? Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
I don't want to kill you.
I imagine I'm in the middle of this moonbeam taking damage.
yes.
You're going to end everything.
And remake it.
You don't know. And he's gonna.
Neither do you.
He's gonna press forward.
Okay.
That's true,
Well-
bruv. I don't know,
Yep.
but you
You
don't
see-
know either.
You see the shimmering light of the moonbeam begin to like hit Draxus, and a whirl of smoke, and he disappears and reappears next to the heart. And he looks to Dante and says, "I'm sorry." And then he points both of his hands at Lionel, and I'm casting 2 Eldritch Blasts.
Make your attack.
17
That is going to hit AC 14.
and a 20. You take. Oh wait, what is that? No, wrong button. Sorry, you don't take that.
Yeah, boy.
25 damage.
You take 12 damage, and you are launched 20 feet off of it.
Oh my god.
20 feet.
Can I make a
Yep,
can
10
I-
for each bolt.
Can I
That
make
puts you
a
out
dex save to grab onto the end since I have the chain?
Yes, you can.
Or not? I mean, I don't.
No,
Okay,
because you're going out in the middle of nowhere.
that's a 10.
But apparently you're caught off guard, so you're just sailing out over the void. Draxus, as you sort of lower your hands with magical energy still sort of playing around them, your eye does catch that note that was written that you saw earlier. Vankus, what are you doing?
In desperation, Vankus's form will shift and meld, and he will turn into a 30-foot python
Sure, one of the manacles drops to the ground.
and basically trying to slip the manacles.
Oh, easy enough.
So I streak towards Lionel, and we'll like an arrow, and we'll try and wrap him up.
What's your movement speed?
Like
Are
6
Are you
feet.
seeing the same map that I'm seeing, Dave?
Oh my god.
Well, it was
There's a map?
5 to the main, right?
It's a 50-foot distance you need to cover.
5, 10, 15,
Okay, 50 foot.
25, 30,
That's gonna be. All right. Well, I have 10-foot reach and a 40-foot movement.
Give me your attack roll.
Are you not entertained?
11 is not going to do it
I did not see the show going this way
unless
at
you know
all.
Reinald's
I
considered
know.
in a very vulnerable position.
He's falling, but yeah, you wouldn't have your dexterity modifier to your armor class. What would that bring it down to, Lionel?
Without my dex, it would be a. I've got a +2 mod, so it'd be a 12.
12. Yeah, you sort of snap at him, Vankus, but you get leather or a bit of cloth and cloak, but nothing substantial. All right, Lionel, you're falling out over the void. There's this giant boa constrictor that just snapped at you.
Yeah, levitate.
roar, you suddenly start floating up into the air. You can't really move.
Yeah, I guess I'll just float up this way. And I will come up and I count Draxus as 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 feet away from me, yes?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to throw a dagger and try to kill him.
Oh, my God. All right.
As I come, just back up with my chain, like with the dagger aimed, knowing exactly where he's going to be trying to carve the heart, and I'm going to just fling a dagger at him.
Believe you take damage first.
Okay. For
Take
what?
moonbeam damage at the start of your turn.
Why? I wasn't
Wait,
in the...
moonbeam.
I've got knocked...
Oh, that's when I blasted him out of the moonbeam.
Yeah.
Whoopsies.
Yeah.
It's okay, I can move it.
So does he float by me?
He floats up.
So technically, yes.
He's still within your threat range, yeah, because you got reach, right?
I do.
Yeah.
Well, not if he floated 10, and not if he floated 20 feet up.
Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to throw a dagger. I know that this is a no save spell. So I'm going to cast Sleep on him at level 3. And there is no save.
Wow.
And he's the only one in the area, and he just goes to sleep.
Yeah.
Well, you have to roll. You have to beat his hit
Sure,
points, though.
sure. It's
He's got like 4 hit points left.
It's 5. It's 5d8 at level 2.
Can't roll that
at
low.
level 3,
Yeah.
it's 78. So
Yeah, at a
you
minimum, you have my hit points.
Yes. Draxus falls to his knees and then asleep.
yeah, I put 35 hit points worth of asleep.
People asleep. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. That's what you're doing.
I have no spell slots left at level 3.
Dante.
I look over at Lionel and I say, "Are we just supposed to let them die?"
They're going to be erased, bruv. You're going to die. I'm going to die. The whole world is going to die. He's summoning Gashul. He's going to end the world, Dante.
How do you know that?
He told me, bruv. Look. And I'm going to kind of point over. Look at what he's carving. He ain't be carving no Brax, bruv.
What if Brax is evil?
Brax.
You can give me a religion check if you would like some clarity internally, Dante.
Oh, sure.
Gwen laughs at
I mean,
that.
he's a big stupid idiot, so you know.
Is Brax evil?
Boop. Oh,
Barnabas
wow.
would be so pissed right now.
You paid attention in Sundays. Gashul is the god of oblivion
Oh,
and nothingness.
okay.
Brax is the god of justice, retribution.
Then what are we supposed to do? Kill him?
We killed
And let all of our
Drax.
friends die?
We killed Draxus. And we saved the children. And we come back with someone better than him. And I point over to the sleeping, bloody Draxus.
Are the portals still open or no?
Just the two. One on your
Which one?
platform and the one on Lionel's
The
platform.
wolves are doing great, bruv. Trust me.
How long do you think it'll take us to get back there to save them? You think there's anything that's going to be left to save?
I'm gonna like kind of let
What you
the
doing, Dante?
silence.
Were we on a time limit? How close are we to the
Thank God someone remembered.
like we had like a window.
Like 1 day left before the world ends.
Please tell me Vegas just says that. Isn't there like a time limit on this?
That's what he-
Right. You know, you're right. And Lionel and Dante will yell to Lionel and say, "We don't have time to do that."
He is going to give the heart to Geshul. There's no question, bruv.
I've been wrong
simple,
about him
easy
before.
peasy answer.
We've questioned him in the past before, but he's always
And you
he's
know
proven
what?
himself.
We questioned him in the past, and we get here, and he's carving in Gashul's name, bruv. We were always right from the first day we met Draxus. He has evil-hearted.
I'm going to do an insight check on sleeping Dante, not Dante, fucking sleeping Draxus. And I just want a general. I want Guy to explain to me his current intention based on my insight roll. I'm not trying to see if he's evil. I just want to know for me so I can get a look at him to see what I feel with the 10.
Well, You remember the conversations that have been going around this plinth that Draxus seems convinced he's going to remake everything.
Okay.
So you believe Draxus's intentions are what he says them to be. And you're right. He has always told you exactly what he wants to do and has usually done exactly that. Admittedly, sometimes that's been contrary to what the group has decided to do or questioned.
He did say, I'm going to fix everything.
Dante knows that. Dante knows that he's lied, but this is internal monologue for him. Dante knows that he's lied. Dante knows that he's mostly been out for himself, but at the end of the day, at the end of everything, Draxus always does the right thing. Dispel magic on Draxus.
This is fucking nuts.
Draxus,
I look over at Lionel and I say, I'm sorry.
You're damn right you're sorry, bruv! You're going to kill us!
I trust him!
No. And he like kind of points over and he just like
stop wearing that bardic inspiration.
And he just kind of looks over and he's like, you don't trust me? And he just is he's stunned.
And he looks at you and he says, no, Lionel, you're my brother, but I don't trust you.
Gwen, what are you doing?
Laughing the entire time Dante is talking shit about Brax. She's just over there laughing. She's just like, she can't do anything.
Hey, I didn't go to church. I don't know who he is.
This is bananas.
I think Gwen sits cross-legged. She just sits and gets comfortable. If we, in my mind, and this is coming from the daughter of... This is coming from the daughter of the person whose name you think we're supposed to write. I've been here so many times. There has to be a better way. Either another group of people comes back here with a whole new thing and does this within a day's time.
You're no longer there.
Daddy?
You're in a very white space, and there is a very angry-looking man standing in front of you. This is how you repay me?
For what? What did you give me?
Life. You are my daughter. We have a duty to protect this planet and the people from others.
Who protects the world from you?
I am their god.
Not a great one if they're fighting over it right now.
Oh, once again with this teenager behavior. I would have thought after these eons you would have learned your place.
And I thought you would have found someone other than your daughter to sacrifice. Send me back.
If you want me to forge a new avatar and champion, I will gladly do so. But know this, I will send you back to that miserable planet as a mortal. And then you can serve out your days wishing that you were once again in the Pantheon with your people.
If it takes me away from eons with you, so be it.
The room goes dark. You speak too quickly, daughter. I will give you one last chance to reconsider.
I guess we'll have to see.
There is this almighty bellow of frustration, and you are suddenly back on the dais. I'm going to come back to you.
Dads, am I right?
What are you doing, Draxus?
Fuck me. Okay, Draxus, I think only Lionel can see this probably. You see what looks like sadness on a reptilian face, and he reaches into his pocket, pulls out the coin, and throws it towards you. Not like a hug, but like a in a catching manner. And he says, I am sorry. And as the coin spins through the air, Balasar is floating opposite it, and I have him deliver a touch spell, which is Vampiric Touch.
Oh my god.
15?
It's an AC of 14.
Oh my god. Fuck.
You take 8 damage, and I regain 8 health.
Okay.
Oh my god.
And then he turns back to pick up the chisel.
That's what you're doing. Vankus?
I will go after Lionel once again. It's a 23. I wrap my coils around him and just continue the movement onto his dais where he's supposed to be.
All right.
Just constricting.
You pull him, onto his dais?
Where he's supposed to be. And he will take 12 points of damage. And he is grappled.
Are you still alive?
I drop.
Lionel? You drop.
Fuck.
If he drops unconscious, I will use the rest of my movement to begin heading back to my dais.
Fuck.
Leaving a dying Lionel on the plinth.
Yes, I'm hoping he'll live long enough for Draxus to finish his work.
Lionel, would you please give me a death saving throw?
I sure will, buddy. That's an 18.
That's one success. Dante.
I'm bleeding out and dying, buddy.
Yeah. I got that.
He's got another 3 rounds. So
I hold up my hand and I start pointing it over towards him and I like spark my fingers, but I don't cast the spell. It's the sparks to healing word. And I hold it and I don't cast it yet. I'm just like holding on to it, not doing it, but I'm holding my turn.
Gwen?
Gwen, you would see her. So she actually physically vanishes, correct?
Yeah, she returns now.
Gwen she stands up, nodding, and just laughing, like you've probably never heard her laugh before, maniacally, as she slowly steps off, jumps a little bit, to get onto the center, walks over to Draxus, and is going to lay on hands. And as he opens his eyes, she looks into his eyes, looks down. She was worth all of it, wasn't she? And she falls to the ground, healing you for 25 points of health.
Jesus Christ.
God damn it, why can't people just stay on their daises?
Yep.
Holy shit.
Gwen falls next to you, Draxus. You're up, Draxus. What are you doing?
Can I use the chisel? Oh, there's still too many people on here.
It does not look like it. As a matter of fact, the letters are starting to erase themselves.
Draxus sees this happening. Draxus sees this happening, and you see him like launch his head back, and like I think Vegas would probably hear like a gargling noise, and then he takes the chisel and he puts it in his mouth, and he pulls it out, and the chisel is dripping acid. As I use my dragon breath, and I try to chisel with the acid into the heart.
Give me a medicine check real quick as you stand up.
Let's see what happens. -1 for medicine. Cool. You want like an Arcana check, huh? Okay.
No.
A 4. Save for dice. Fuck me. Running.
Let's see it in chat.
Oh.
So you get a 4. Sure. You launch up. You breathe all over this. And you try and chisel on this thing. The acid spills around, but there's nothing. No effect.
He just cries out, "We have to get you guys off of this," as he's banging away.
Vankus, back to you. You're just going to continue across, I suppose?
No, once I realized, Draxus told us we have to be on our platforms for this to work.
Yes.
So empirically trust what Draxus says. So he's going to scoop Gwen up, wrap her up gently, and try and get her back on where she belongs. And then I want to try and move to where I belong.
Give me a saving throw. Medicine check.
Medicine check, sure. That's definitely a thing that I can do. No, I don't want that. For whatever reason, I grabbed the wrong thing. Or I grabbed the wrong thing. That's a 10.
That's a 10. She is cold to the touch and unmoving.
Huh. I don't know exactly what that means. I'm cold to the touch right now, and I'm still going to move her over to where she belongs.
All right, using all your movement, you kind of drag her over. There's a certain satisfaction that you get, Draxus, as you see that the H had erased itself and the S was starting to vanish, but now the S is now solid. I
got about 80 foot of movement, so.
Yeah, so I reckon from where you were to her was about 20, then 20 over to where she needs to be. Yeah, well, 40, yeah, you get all the way back to yours. Not a problem. The moment you get back onto your dais, the stone starts to glow again with a bit of energy. Lionel, death saving throw, if you please, sir.
That's a 12. That's another success.
Second success. Look at you, Dante.
I am going to. Is everybody off the platforms?
They are indeed.
I'm still holding that cure. That fucking heal.
Spark.
Yeah,
down
and
too,
just
though.
waiting on it. Like he's just sparking it in his hand, ready to go. As soon as Draxus completes it, he's going to cast it on Lionel to make sure he's not dead. And it's really hard for him not to cast it now, but he knows he has to wait.
All right. Jenks, you wake up.
Ooh, this place is scary. Are there any snacks? Draxus, what are you doing?
Wrapping things up.
Wrapping what up?
The whole save the world thing. Relax, kid. Tink. Tink.
All right. You
Where's
continue
She's just in the back doing this.
We'll get her back.
Hey, bud.
Hey, bud.
That's how she wakes. Hey, bud. What are you doing?
You continue to carve out the name. It completes. As it does, there's this wash of energy that plays out over the whole heart. And it, in front of your very eyes, starts to transform into black, solid matter. But it gets to the point where at the very center, there is still this green glowing energy. And the apparition appears in front of you. You have not yet completed the challenge.
Son of a bitch.
Actually, she was married and they were quite happy together.
What's the final piece?
There's still, well, he sort of looks over at the two portals, one on Lionel's dais and one on Dante's dais.
Son of a bitch.
What do I need to do?
I don't remember what your fucking challenge was, man. To be honest, like
It was honor. It was honor. I know it was honor. I had to do something.
I know, but what was your story?
Fuck.
Oh, let me tell you.
Dante also sits there like, I don't remember. It was like 30 seconds ago, but I don't remember.
Vankus, what are you doing? You can see behind Dante that Leslie is basically, she's surrounded by wolves, but it now looks as if it's Leslie. She's got a very, very wounded looking scratches at her feet and 4 kids. And then there are a pack of wolves around her, 6 of them, but they're also quite heavily injured. And there are still orcs around them. Not a lot, but there are still orcs around them.
You know what? I can't do anything here. I think he's finished carving, and we had to stay on our daises for him to finish the carving. As far as I know, I'm gonna make for a portal.
All right, which one? You've got Lionel's or Dante's?
Let's see. Let's see. Where am I? I am here. I will go for Dante's because it's the closest.
Sure. With your serpentine speed, you get there.
And I'll try and dive through it.
You're going to try and dive through the portal?
Yes.
All right. As you try to move through the portal, there is this pressure against your scaled face, and you realize you can't actually go through whatsoever.
Yeah, I just hiss in frustration, and I kind of sulk back to my dais or towards my dais.
All right.
Giving baffled looks towards both Dante and Lionel for not completing their tasks.
Sure thing. Lionel, final saving throw, please, sir.
Maybe. 10. That's another success. I'm stable
3
and
successes.
not dying.
You are no longer dying. Dante.
What do I need to do? I don't remember. Do I need to be a honorable person? Like that I had to push the stone thing.
You chose self for honor. If you
Self,
recall.
I am honorable. That didn't work. He doesn't know what to do.
Leslie just gets hit once on the side of the head by this large mace. She drops to one knee.
Draxus, you're smart. I don't know what to do.
Traxxas might be smarter, but Mike doesn't remember what your actual challenge was.
Can I roll? Can I roll to figure this out?
I don't remember.
Sure. Give me an intelligence.
Great. -1.
Can I, on my turn, can I give you a history check for the other two?
Can you tell us what the murals were in that room?
Yeah, his mural was a dude standing. It was a shield, a sword, and a dude standing, and he picked the dude standing. And
Correct.
Lionel was a shield, an axe. We originally picked the axe, but that was wrong, and a dude kneeling.
He had to kneel to him,
dude.
yeah.
I remember all that, just not the stories.
Come kneel to Lionel, Draxus.
Do I need to die? Like,
No, you weren't sacrificed.
no, I know. I need to do something honorable. I don't know what it is.
That's what I mean. Like we remember the symbols, but not the murals. But for us, it was a week ago. For our characters, it was like 10 minutes ago.
Can I go to the portal and try to put my hand through it?
Doesn't go through. Does not go through. Jenks, back to you.
I'm laughing because Jenks doesn't know anything.
Damn it.
She doesn't know shit.
Wait, I'm gonna type Jenks in Zoom chat. It's gonna feel great. Yeah.
All right, that's what you're doing. Draxus.
Can I give
She's
you a
asking if
history
there's bread.
to try to figure out what the hell these were? Because I don't remember what the hell the challenges were.
Sure.
All
Give me an
right.
intelligence check.
Sure. Does history work?
Yeah, sure. History works.
Fantastic. That's a plus
Short-term
8.
history.
Cool. 25.
Well,
For fuck's sake.
you didn't really see what the others were doing with their portals, but it certainly seemed to be when they were enacting what they were kind of what their virtue, what their choice was. When they enacted that, that seemed to close the portal. So with Dante, self-honoring is brought to oneself by action.
Honor myself?
Yeah, buddy. You gonna honor yourself a little bit there?
Do you want us to
But-
watch or do you want us to turn around?
But when the actions of the others were cast into the world, that's then when the portal's closed. So
Honors himself.
Chat has it right.
Honor myself. I
Vigorously.
have to jack myself off.
Yeah.
You're blonde. How dare you?
What can I see? What is the scene in through Dante's portal or Lionel's portal? I assume I can see into those.
oh, sure. Right now, you can see Leslie with a bloodied side of her head. She is busy fending off this orc. There are 2 wolves that are busy trying to attack the orc as well, but the orc seem very intent on destroying Leslie.
Man, he looks to Dante and confused as all hell with what's going on. That's me. He looks over to him and he like is confused and looks to the portal and back to Dante, and he says, "Honor your orcish heritage."
Okay.
I don't know what that means, man.
Back to you, Vankus.
You know what? Vankus would not know what to do with it. The concept
Vankus-
of
Vankus
honor would
is
be so
screaming at
foreign
me.
to him.
Venkis is screaming at me to use my spell slots to help Leslie.
Matter of fact, I will turn from the snake back into Vankus. Help Leslie! Use your magic!
I've only got 1 slot left.
I don't care!
What are you doing, Vankus? Just shouting, help, help, help?
Help Leslie, yeah.
All right.
Honor my orcish heritage.
Yeah.
Kill me.
Lionel, what are you doing?
I'm unconscious.
You are unconscious. That is correct. Sorry, yes, you are unconscious. Dante, back to you. Kill you.
I slam my head into the dais, in attempt to deal damage to myself. Oh no! Oh fuck! I'm not gonna use that. Oh, there we go. I take thunderclap and I just clap it between my head. Fucking goddamn!
I don't think self-harm is honorable.
Just do it.
Give me a Constitution saving throw. Don't worry about the damage.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Clap at point blank range on the
Con save 17.
Okay, you blast yourself with Thunderwave. Do your damage.
It's just thunderclap. It's a cantrip, so I did 2 damage to myself.
Yeah, it certainly hurts. You take 4 damage, as a matter of fact, because you inflicted it on yourself. But you're still standing.
Put 2 more damage on me. I can't do it.
What was that?
I'm going to kill myself and use the smallest magic.
I don't have any more spell slots.
Here.
I can't use my high-level spells. I used them all to dispel Lionel's spells.
Jenks, you doing anything? There doesn't appear to be any bread on the dais.
What are you doing? She yells over to Dante.
Try to honor my family.
Hey, Jenks, you're back. Hey,
Yeah.
do you know about Virtue?
What?
That guy over there laying on the dais under the portal. Can you go do something about Virtue over there?
She's going to hop off of her thing. She'll walk over and poke Draxus, just to annoy him, as she does.
Okay.
And then she'll hop on his little area up there.
God damn it.
All right, I'm going to say that you can get
She's going
that.
to sit right on his chest and just look at him.
Draxus, you watch as the heart starts to go green again, as the magic seems to be being undone, as, again, 2 people are off their dais.
Fuck.
Back to you, Draxus. What you doing?
Shoot me! I'll just blast! Shoot me! Do something!
Draxus sighs heavily at chat and walks across to Lionel's thing and kneels before Jenks and says, "All hail the goddess of bread," and then leaps back to the other one.
Is that me? Oh, Draxus, you've changed so much. Where are we?
Wait, you're going to where Lionel is?
Mm-hmm. And I kneel before Jenks.
You kneel before Jenks.
Mm-hmm. She's now on the Virtue thing.
Just sitting on top of his chest.
She's technically sitting on top of Lionel, so I guess I'm technically kneeling before Lionel too.
She's sitting on a throne of lies.
You kneel down before, and the portal vanishes.
He sighs and hops back across.
Do it again.
I think that's all my movement speed.
Yeah. All right, that's what you're doing, Vankus.
Vankus, do it. I'll be fine. Do it.
Honor, huh? Do what?
Just do it and you'll find out.
You didn't tell me what you want me
Okay,
to.
for all the people in the Zoom chat saying use Bardic Inspiration, I don't have any left. I have 2 and I use them. Everybody keeps asking me for them.
Well, you know what? In sheer desperation, I will try and, through the portal, use Healing Word on Leslie.
All right.
Second level spell.
3 of us have Healing Word.
The only time we ever seriously got close to dying was when we attacked each other.
I know.
and when a dragon came out, but that was before we had a bunch of healing word.
Well, to be fair, we didn't get very close to dying when the
So I
dragon.
try and cram
Several people
25
died.
points of healing in Leslie's direction.
Guy watched your video and he was like, Healing Word is overpowered. How can this party die if they fight themselves?
Draxus, where's the other one, the tall one?
Your healing word goes off, and you see the wound on Leslie's head slowly disappear, She seems to strengthen under that and rise up. It looks as if there are now 4 wolves and Leslie and about 6 kids, and then maybe 5 orcs left. But they're the big, heavy orc bruisers. It looks very close to concluding at this point. Lionel, you're still unconscious, I'm afraid. Nothing I can do about that. Dante, back to you.
Jacob, if you're looking for suggestions, somebody said it might be noble to heal your best friend for forever.
That's not noble. That's noble. It's not honorable.
Okay, well, it might be honorable then.
I don't think that's going to work. I'll cast Healing Word on Lionel.
You cast Healing Word on Lionel.
Yep.
Lionel, you get back 6 hit points.
There is a tiefling sitting on your
Sitting
chest.
on my chest.
As you do so,
It's Gwen.
It looks like Gwyn to me, right?
Yeah.
as you do so, your portal vanishes.
Damn it.
Jenks?
Jenks, don't let him up no matter what.
What'd you do?
We're getting the other 2 back, kid.
I tried to hurt Leslie and the kids.
Stay right there, mister.
She has no idea who.
No, he didn't.
Not a clue what's
Trying
going
to
on.
prevent Draxus from ending the whole world as we know it. And
Draxus?
remaking it, because that always works out great when Dark Odds are like, oh, this is great, we'll remake
Can we
it.
put Lionel unconscious again? Can we put Lionel unconscious?
Draxus, what you doing?
What does the heart look like?
It's no longer black. It's now green. You think if it remains much longer, it's actually going to start undoing itself.
Is the word still there?
It is still there for now.
Fuck. I have no idea.
We have to be on our right things. Everyone's not on their thing.
Yeah, that's true. He is re-chiseling back to make sure that it stays there. But he does echo, Venkas's concern. Get back to your spaces.
Venkus, I assume you slither over to your dais.
And I move Balasar
Yeah,
over to
I'm human anyway, but yeah, I would move back to.
Yeah, you leap over back onto the dais. As soon as Vankus lands on his dais, the heart starts to go black again. But yeah, there's still that single green spark in the very center. Lionel, there is a Gwen sitting on your chest.
Yeah. He kind of, looks back up. Gwen, you didn't let him do it, did ya? Tell me you didn't do it!
That would be a cool middle name. Gwen.
And he kind of looks...
Do you have any bread? She gets really close to your
He
face.
looks over at the blackened heart. What have you done, Draxus?
I brought back 1 out of 3.
Why? Why, Draxus? Why?
I told you.
It's going to remake things.
Yes, it is going to remake everything the way it should be.
You can't remake things, bruv. You can only move forward. I can't go back and fix my marriages.
But I can.
No, you can't, bruv. You just don't know it yet. And you're going to end everything.
Well, we can wait here for a few more hours and everything will end on its own. Or you can see what happens.
Let him finish it, Lionel.
I'm going to try to push Jinx off of me suddenly and hard.
Sure, give me an attack roll.
Strength check.
Off the edge.
Yeah.
Are you trying to push her off the edge or just push her off you?
I'm not going to push her. I'm not going to kill. Oh my god.
Kill her?
How much would chat hate me
I'd
for
probably get
forever
up-
if I just immediately kill Jinx?
At least
No,
I
just
accidentally killed Jinx. Jesus.
just off of me. Just off of me. A 16.
All right, give me a strength check, if you please. Sorry, athletics or acrobatics. No, all right. You launch. Sorry, yeah, you can use either of those skills.
Can I use athletics? Because that's my jam.
Sure, Lionel, you try and push her off, but her knees just dig into your sides. She has remarkably powerful thighs.
As
He just kind of looks over at her. Damn, girl.
Dr. Professor, Mr.
How you doing?
Damn, bro. You used the
Mr.
five
Captain, Dr. Professor Draxus told me to make you stay here. She's not even using her hands, just her thighs.
Dante?
I can't do anything else. I have no weapon, no spells, no bardic inspiration, nothing. I sit there and I'm just waiting.
Just waiting.
It's like, let him
Jenks?
finish it. Let him finish it.
Draxus looks over to Jenks and says,
Get back on yours, kid. We're gonna go get scratches.
Sergeant! Wait, what happened? Where is he?
He's just not here. We gotta go get him.
Oh, okay, I thought this might happen. Ooh. I need to learn how to read. And she jumps off and walks back to her platform.
Gotta learn how to read.
I'm so confused.
All right, you jump off, you rush over, and you land on your platform.
Oh, God.
The heart completely turns black. And the claw that was holding the entire structure now dissolves away. And the apparition appears in front of you. Are you complete?
We still have
Yes.
my portal.
No, he didn't. Kneeling in front of you made your portal go away.
Your portal's gone.
Excuse me, in front of Jinx.
Right in front of Jenks.
All 4 portals are closed at this point.
The
I'm not
tassels.
grappling you anymore, though.
Yeah. I mean, she can ungrapple and run off, and I can't get up in time to get off mine. Kind of seems like it would.
It's Draxus' turn.
Yeah, just from a turn perspective, unfortunately.
Okay.
The apparition then bows and steps back. The heart suddenly emits this black column which just surges directly up and out of the heavens. Up, and becoming slightly wider, you see these black tendrils of smoke wrapping around this thing, and it then suddenly expands outwards in all directions, completely encasing everything in darkness. Draxus, you're the only one who's left standing in this new space. There is someone with you. You have done very well, Draxus. If I chose any avatar correctly, you were certainly the right one. You never wavered for a moment in your choices. Not once. I need to feed my dogs later. I wish for you now to claim your reward for doing the duty that you have fulfilled so nobly. I believe that there was some deal made with my intercessor.
There was a seat at the right hand and a recreation of the world that should be.
We will recreate your broken world as you request. And within certain parameters, of course.
I would assume nothing less.
Know that you have brought around a new era. The reign of Gashul will be for all time. Suddenly, you are sitting at a bar. It's a tavern, a rather stony tavern that seems to be designed for human folk as well as larger folk. It almost feels like a stables, as a matter of fact. Sitting at one of the tables is a very curious-looking tiefling who appears to be stabbing bits of bread onto her horns. There's also a very scruffy-looking individual, looks as if he's crawled out from the undersphere just a few days ago, currently eating the peanuts at the bar, I believe. This very handsome, if slightly older soldier suddenly comes striding in, chatting away to a younger individual who is berating almost everything he can possibly find that begins with a B sound, because that's what he likes. And these two figures sit down at the bar nearby that you are seated at. All is almost as you remember, Draxus. Jenks is Jenks. Vanker certainly seems to be the wild boy that he was when you first met him. And Barnabas hasn't changed an iota. He is still Barnabas. Although the armor he wears is no longer the shiny armor of a paladin of Brax, it is now black and very, very darkly inscribed with these very maroon-looking symbols. And as he sits down, the inhabitants of the tavern all immediately rise up and leave. The barkeep in terror looks up at him and says, "Yes, my Lord Barnabas, what would you have?" As he looks on at this dark paladin of Kashul. And so we pull back from this little tavern that's about to collapse into an underground chamber, and we leave our heroes where we've met them. And we bring to an end the Kharos Stones. Thank you for all watching, and thank you guys for participating. I had absolutely no idea that's the way that it was going to go.
Oh my God.
I don't want to take away from anything that has just happened right here. Before you guys leave, we are going to take a very, very short 5-minute break. We're going to probably bring the stream all the way down. Actually, you know what? We're going to leave it up. We'll leave it up and we'll edit later. We're going to leave the stream up. The cast is just going to take a 5-10 minute break just to grab some drinks, step in the restrooms, whatever we need to do. And then we're going to come back with a Q&A to wrap up all of this, to talk about all the chaos and what was going on behind the scenes and messages and all of those things, and congratulate Guy on what a marvelous season here on Saber Dice.
For real.
So don't go anywhere.
Stay here.
Go grab some popcorn. Go grab some beers. The Q&A, it's you know, there's no alcohol rules there, guys. All right, so we will be back.
Holy shit, Mario said.
We will be back.
That's not Swedish money there.
Wow.
Damn, dude. Thanks.
Mario Sack, holy smokes. Thank you for the $100 donation. We love your face so much. Guys, we will be right back. Cast, we'll be back in 5 minutes. Let's make it happen, Captain.
Hey guys, we're taking questions.
And welcome back, guys. So welcome back to Kharos Stones. This is the Q&A wrap up at the end of I don't think this is actually going to be two separate videos. So everybody here pretty much knows what's going on. We've got a lot to get to. So before we jump into the Q&A and chat about the season, guys, if you want to ask questions, you can leave them here on YouTube or on Twitch, whichever one you're watching on. We've got a whole bunch of people over here on YouTube. We've got a few people over there on Twitch. We still see you. We still love you. We'll get your questions over there. If you're going to ask a question, please start it off with a big question in all caps with a colon or whatever, and then your question, so we can see that. They're going to be going very fast, so we're going to try to get to whatever questions we can. Obviously, are not going to get to all of them. We'll just pick the best ones that we want to talk about. So
there's a bunch of them already.
I know. I looked down and it's like, holy shit. So let's start off with, I think the only place to go here to start things off with is Guy SCLANDERS. Guy, wow.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? How are you feeling? What's your emotions like?
I was in the kitchen making coffee, and I spilled coffee all over the place because I'm still shaking a little bit. I will admit it. And I was thinking, 25 years of doing this, and I still get excited at the end of a game.
Yes. Seriously.
Yeah, I did not anticipate this as the outcome. This was one of potential outcomes for sure, but I did not see this unfolding the way it did. I thought it was going to be a half-hour conclusion, but it was, yeah. I am satisfied with how the game ran. Let's put it that way. I'm super happy.
I have a question for a Guy. I'm not in chat. Do I have to ask it in chat? Do you use this world, this campaign setting for other games? And what we did here, is that now canon?
I did not. I have not used this world before. I created this specifically for you guys.
I feel special now.
Oh, sure. No, absolutely. I made it just for Kharos Stones.
You're like, these guys are gonna fuck my shit up, and I'm not gonna have it attached to anything else.
No. I actually quite enjoyed the world. I thought it was quite a fun place to play. I've wanted to do a broken world for a very, very long time, but just never sort of had the opportunity. And I think that this worked out pretty well. So I would like to come back here. I think there are a lot of different things to explore and a lot of different races and things to play around with. But yeah, I mean, certainly, if we ever went back here, it would be based off of what has now occurred, and it would be a much darker place to visit, I think.
Yeah. Now you have action, right? You have things that have happened for the world.
Oh, sure.
And it's in a state of whatever, however it has been remade in Gashul's slash Draxus's image.
Well, Draxus just said he wanted things to go back the way they were. And Gashul said, sure, with, one little small modifier. But yes, there is only one true God, and that is the God Gashul. So that has major ramifications for everything. But yes, it's back, kind of.
So I think we should not ask if that was the right or wrong decision. We will leave that up for you viewers to figure out and
oh yeah,
for each of the casts, because even the cast, obviously we disagreed, and there was quite a bit of role playing and chat going on, and some of it was half-hearted and some of it was kind of humorous, but I was absolutely blown away by how awesome of an ending that was. Let's get some questions in, I guess, or do you guys want to chat about what your feelings first before we move on to the questions? Mike, how are you feeling about Gashul?
I'm pretty good. I will say this. In 24 episodes, over the course of what has been
22.
Like 22, you're right, 22.
We did 22.
Over the course of what has been like 6 months, right? This was the only thing I had planned the entirety of the campaign.
Dang.
At the end of last episode, we were in our post, session conversation, and I said, Guy, stay behind. I need to talk to you. And everyone left, and I said, Guy, this is how I want the campaign to end. If it goes Draxus's way, my intent is to put down the name of Gashul, and I want the final scene to be the opening scene, but remade with everyone back.
It was so good.
I was ready to have it not be that, because first of all, I also expected what Guy said. I was like, oh, everyone's just going to believe Draxus and it's going to happen and it's going to be over and we're going to do a Q&A thing, right? and then it didn't, and then it very much didn't, and I was like, oh shit. And I did not expect any of the campaign to happen. I expected it to start, and it ended the way I wanted it to, which is great, but the whole middle was fucking outstanding. That was super awesome. That was super cool. And I'm super glad it ended that way, because I feel like that's the most satisfying ending, right?
Right at the end, Cody was just spamming into the chat, Infinity War ending.
Yeah.
And realistically, that's what I imagined in my head, that like music playing and like Drax is just sitting there in that tavern with like the sun in his eyes. And it's just that like melancholic music playing of like, I did it. I won. And it's like, it's so cool. So cool.
Yep. It was dope. I had a blast. I loved the campaign. I loved the character growth of everybody. I loved how everyone changed. I loved this was a great crew to play with. It was a very good story, and I don't feel like there were parts of story that we missed, right? But like I don't feel like the story was left untold. Like I know there's more branching paths that we could have gone, and that would have extended the campaign for longer. But I don't feel like the story was any less badass because of it. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, this was super awesome. I'm super happy about the whole campaign and how it ended.
Lauren, what do you think? You got Jinx back twice.
I mean, I'm sitting here eating bread. I'm celebrating.
Jinx back. You got her back twice. You got her once, and then you got her remade. She got resurrected twice.
I mean, ultimately, we needed our god back so that she could slowly take over this world. So I'm pretty happy about it. I was messaging Guy a while back, just kind of like messing with him. I'm like, it'd be really funny is if all these theories and everything that everybody in the Discord for the Patreon, which you guys are awesome. I hang out with them a lot, and they have all these theories, and I can't say anything, but I'm gonna say something right now, guys. I didn't plan anything about my character backstory wise, and you guys fed me things, and I'm like taking notes, and I'm like, that would be weird if Gwen was somehow related to Faye, bitch. And I have a notepad sitting over there, leaning on my monitor, and has a giant question mark with like a little like murder chart.
Oh God, Guy, she's linked our worlds.
I did. I actually thought about it.
Very different worlds, might I add.
No, this is. They were saying in chat, this may be Gwen's punishment. She gets sent to another.
Before the world broke. It was before the world broke.
Jacob, what do you think?
I have a question. I loved it. I loved everything about it. I loved the character conflict. I loved the speeches that we were having at each other. I liked that it wasn't easy. I think it was really cool at the end that there was this disagreement between Dante and Lionel and everybody. And I thought that was interesting because Jacob was conflicted. I didn't even know what to do. I'm sitting here like, the whole world is in our hands. So, question for you. Somebody pointed it out in the chat for you.
Actions? The actions?
Huh?
Are you talking about the
What
actions? Okay.
What happened after?
Levitate and sleep in the same round? Yeah.
No.
That's why I didn't mind. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Oh, no. It's none of that. I don't fucking care. Where is Valentine? Is he dead? Did he die before everything happened because he maybe lost in the war? That's my question on not like I'm not, why wasn't he there? I just want to know,
he was there. He described him walking in. He was
he is in there.
Yeah. We're talking about this.
He was the grizzled
I didn't hear that
guy.
shit. I'm stupid. Okay, cool. That's interesting.
Yeah, he was the one that Barnabas was prophetizing to.
See, guys,
That's
the thing
awesome.
is that Jacob feels really sad because nobody ever liked Valentine, and when everybody
No,
talks
no, no,
about
no,
the
no,
first
no,
no.
best of
I
the
love
season, he's like,
No.
everybody
Only
mentions
Jacob didn't
Barnabas
like
and
him.
Jinx.
No,
And nobody
no.
says they liked Valentine. I didn't like Valentine. I hated him.
I've said multiple times I understand. I was curious for the story of the game because I didn't remember hearing that he was described in there. So that's interesting. I think that's really cool. Somebody pointed out in the chat there, like, he's probably a lot like meaner and a lot more brutish. And I was like, it's probably a worse world that he's had to fight against.
Or what if it's flipped? What if he's like a comedian because it's so dark he just defaulted to comedy to handle all of it?
He's a cross class. He's a fighter bard.
Right? If you think about it, though, there would be far less religious wars. There is only one true God.
And that's strength.
So the wars would be against resources and things like that. So there's a reason why there's not like other paladins. It's just that's why Barnabas is a paladin of Gashul now.
Dave, what'd you think?
Do we know that there are no other gods?
We don't know there's no other gods. We just know that Gashul is the one true God.
Yeah.
Dave, what'd you think?
It was great. It was. I'm kind of wondering now if we've all come back as darker versions of ourselves, though.
What are the orcs stronger now because Gashul rules?
He wasn't really the orcish god. He's
okay.
God of Oblivion, so
they more or less stay the same then, the orcs.
It really does depend on whether the Order of Gashul has annihilated them or not. Remember, Gashul is about oblivion. So if you're bringing about oblivion, if you're destroying, you will probably be stronger than if you are trying to protect and maintain and create. So the orcs most likely will be stronger. I mean, that's what I love about when Mike came to me and he said, okay, this is the ending that he wanted. I went, all right, well, I like the idea that everything returns to where it was, but it cannot return to how it was. Gashul is now in power. So that's why Barnabas is now in this black armor. So yes, I mean, it does raise those questions. How would Valentine be? He's associating with this dark paladin of Gashul. So he's either he's either sucking up to Barnabas, or is on the same standing as Barnabas. Or, I mean, there's so many different ways you can play it out. So
I think it is so sweet that Draxus and Barnabas butted heads, kind of like Lionel and Draxus a little bit, but in a totally different way. And now, whenever the dust is settled, you have presumably Barnabas, who we last saw, dying, and then, him saying, serve me, and then him going, what's your name? And that was the last thing we saw of him. Presumably that was Gashul. And then obviously Draxus helping Gashul. So I think it's kind of funny and sweet that Barnabas and Draxus were probably like, I'm gonna, in my head, they're buddy, they're like this, Mike. They're like this, buddy.
I will say that there's no real way to portray this in the narrative roleplay, right? It's just like it's like a character aside or exposition. But the final caveat to the end scenario scene was that the only one that remembers is Draxus.
That's cool.
I would love to see Cody play Dark Barnabas.
Yeah, guys, that's the announcement. We're actually just going to do Kharos Stones 2. And we're actually going to do the entire campaign.
Kharos Stones
Okay. So before we get on to questions, I have we here at Saber Dice have a small announcement. I saw a question that came through, and I want to chat about it here. For those of you guys who've been following Saber Dice for a long time, you guys know that in between seasons we rotate casts. Often, not always, but almost, I guess, every time thus far.
Bye, guys.
We love this cast, and this entire cast is coming back next season as is. 100%. So everybody you see here will continue to be on the cast. Everybody you see here will continue to be on the Patreon cast as well. So if you guys are following After Dark, all of that will keep running with all the 6 of us here. And then next season will start on May 8th. Now, don't worry, we're going to be back next week. Okay, we're going to be back next week. The official season will start with a new long-term campaign on May the 8th. I will be the GM, the Game Master, not the Dungeon Master, because we are going to be taking things to an interstellar level with some Starfinder, as Jacob and I are the only ones excited to play some Starfinder, and everybody else is like, what?
I love Starfinder.
I agree, man. It's going to be fun.
I've played it so many times.
Yeah, so May 8th will be Oasis, Starfinder, all of the cast you see here, and for those of you guys on the Patreon, you guys will be getting like little character backgrounds and snippets and sneak peek at the art as that starts to come through, and character sheets and stuff like that. So if you guys are over on the Patreon, you guys will be getting all that. But I just wanted to quickly announce that, and then we can jump into questions here. I know some of the cast members have to go in about 30-40 minutes, so we want to kind of pound through some of these.
Questions.
Yes, start rifling them off.
I put a shitload of them in Zoom chat, so go nuts, guys.
For Mike, would Draxus now be a follower of Gashul since you sort of his right hand?
No.
Okay. Did Guy intend for this to be the result to set up another season? Since the end really only had 2 options. Either they kill Draxus and are kind of screwed, or they let him finish and then, this.
He's trying to get renewed.
Gotta work in a second season. Yeah, and it didn't work, did it? No, damn. No, it was. it wasn't an intention to do it to get a second season, but it is part of my design philosophy when I try and create campaigns. Is there are 2 open doors currently, if you were keeping track, that I had set up. One I had set up beforehand in case this didn't work out as I had planned, because there were many ways that this could have played out today, and that is with Lord Slythen. And then, of course, now we have this alternative reality kind of space that could be explored as a second season, if so be. But I always design my campaigns so there is always a hook in case people want to carry on playing, and not. And if no one wants to carry on playing either, that's okay. The story has wrapped and ended as well. So,
what happened to Gwen? That's just the question. That's the whole question. What happened?
Yeah, what happened to Gwen?
What happened to Gwen, Lauren?
What happened to Gwen, guy?
Like Gwen, not like daughter of Brax Gwen.
Gwen doesn't have a body.
Interesting.
That's true.
And she doesn't exist in this world. So she got her wish. She doesn't have to do it anymore. She doesn't exist.
You know, there was
she's Faye.
There's an old show that Dave probably knows because, and
as the GM just said,
would body hop, right? Remember, and the guy would like look and you
Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
I told you he would know.
Got Bakula. If there's any time he was actually good for a role.
It's only like 20, 30 years old. It's only 80s.
How is the team feeling about the end of the session? Yeah, we got that. Do everyone remember what happened without an ED? Do everyone remember what happened?
There we go.
I don't know. I think just Draxus, right? Is that guy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you're asking from that perspective, yeah, Draxus is the only one of the party who knows what happened.
Oh, it's so tragic, but it's so great.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Why didn't Draxus write his own name?
There's like 30 of those.
Yeah. So in all of those, right? So for Draxus' mentality, why didn't he write his own name? Why didn't he write whatever person's name? What would happen if he wrote someone else's name, right? The reason is Draxus didn't know what would happen if he wrote someone else's name. He knew what would happen if he wrote Brax's name, and he believed what would happen if he wrote Kashul's name. And those 2 people are already gods. There was in no prophecy, in no lore, in no story that he'd ever heard, did writing your own name make you a god. And the only other person besides him to have done this and forged something here was the crazy naked guy, who also, though a clear sycophant, didn't write his own name. He made a weapon. Which led Draxus to believe that writing your own name or anyone else's name that wasn't already a divinity would do nothing. Technically, I guess he could have attempted to write Gwen's name, but Draxus didn't really like Gwen, so like he didn't care for Gwen to begin with, and then once he found out who Gwen really was, he was like, oh, everything makes sense now, and then would not have written her name.
This is the first time I've ever played a character that I intentionally wanted people to not like. I mean, people have not liked characters I've played, but like intentionally to that person.
That's how Iron Man was born.
I also think the end role play with Gwen when Lionel turned and Gwen was like, when Gwen realized what happened and she was like, nah, you know what? Fuck this. Do what you want, dude. I was like, I was like, oh no! I expected if anyone to join Lionel, I was like, it has to be Gwen. Like Gwen will absolutely turn. And I was like, and that'll be fucked. Like, I'm pretty sure I can withstand Lionel's barrage of assaults, but I can't withstand Gwen.
Listen, she got daddy issues.
I didn't plan for all your back issues of daddy, and now
for the record, you can't handle Lionel. You couldn't handle Lionel. You only survived Lionel because of Dante dispelling magic.
Yeah, but you had to dump.
Go to sleep, coup de grace, move on.
Yeah.
It's pronounced. It is said "Coupe de Gracie."
And I didn't want to kill you. I said it. I was being truthful.
I know. Dave, did your character become everything you wanted him to be when you created him?
I didn't really have like goals for that character because, Vankis was all about passion, right? That's an impulse, and that's how I played him. So those things actually developed as the game went on, like, inadvertently getting, married to Leslie and kind of hooked up with her, which he liked that, like it worked for him and his personality because he's also really easygoing, but he runs very like hot and cold is how I perceived him. So like he could flip a switch and go, 180, just like that. Cause very much he embodied the forces of nature in his personality. You know, when he ran into one of his old comrades, he was so happy to see him. Then he realized he was betrayed by him. And in an instant, he just threw him over the edge without a thought. And he saved Leslie, and he saw, you know, the positive effect that had on her. And he's like, oh, this is great. This is awesome. I like this. And, you know, and then he decided he was loyal to her.
What is so funny, Lauren? What is happening?
Was the positive effect having sex with her under a temple of the thing that she was just about to be sacrificed on? I'm just asking for a friend.
Because I'm pretty sure Barnabas saved Leslie.
Listen, don't be the Draxus. He's smart, whatever. Be the Venkus.
I mean this with full respect to everybody who has ever been on Saber Dice, including current cast and myself in this statement. David Friant is secretly the best role player in the world. And nobody knows it because he has the worst accents ever.
But
he is secretly the best role player ever.
I have a quick question for you, Dave. Sorry, Mike.
Go ahead.
How did you feel about that whole Leslie thing?
I thought it was really cool. Like, we don't generally do a lot of like romance in our personal games. And like more recently, we've been kind of like adding more of that in. But I liked it because I felt like it really grounded him to the world and to civilization, really. Because otherwise, Vankus would probably have drifted much further into being more primitive and more savage.
Cool, thank you. I was just curious.
I agree wholeheartedly with Cody that Dave is an amazing role player, but I have to slide this question in here because I love this question. The question is, did Draxus specifically neglect to have that Balak guy recreated so there wasn't an even more popular professor? Absolutely. Is the question?
Guy,
Draxus is no less petty as a demigod.
Guy, are you going to do the whole build the world with YouTube for the next campaign since you're all coming back? Well, I guess that means for your next season.
Well, yeah, when I do another season for Kharos Stones, well, not for Kharos Stones, for Saber Dice, sure. But
also Kharos Stones.
Freudian slip.
Okay,
or
so
possible
Starfinder.
Are you
this universe?
guys?
We do 22 more episodes.
Cody, earmuffs real quick. Just earmuffs real quick. Guys, what's the quickest we can TPK all of our characters in Starfinder? How do we...
I'm a robot. I'll just shoot you at the airlock.
Mike,
Cody, I love you, but...
Mike, how do you not know? I am the most lethal DM on Saber Dice. I kill players like no problem.
Perfect.
So
I'm excited for that.
You just have to make a new one. I had a question. Guy, are you sad that you didn't kill Lionel? Because
I didn't try and kill Lionel. I didn't have to do anything.
We'll let you guys. We were recording the After Dark podcast, and we do that in like big 4-hour blocks. So like we'll sit on a Sunday and then we'll just record it. For Guy, it's Monday because he's across the world, and we just record it. And Guy is over here talking about killing Lionel. I think you let it slip accidentally. Like, oh yeah, next week, like when we kill Lionel. And it was like in the middle, and I just stopped stone dead. I was like, what are you talking about? Are you sad you didn't kill him? Because I could tell it was in your heart of hearts. Deep down in your heartsies, you really wanted him dead.
I don't know, 1,000
heartsies?
At no point did I try and kill Lionel. I didn't throw a punch. I didn't enhance an attack roll. I let the dice do what they wanted to do. Your fellow player characters tried to kill Lionel, sure.
I wasn't trying to kill you.
Little moonbeam never hurt anybody.
I never hurt Lionel. I almost did.
You hurt his feelings by not taking this.
I hurt his feelings.
Here.
Yeah, hurt him right there.
Down here. XP level 3, you are slim thick, brother. Not a question.
Got it. Thank you.
Question: what was Rekthul's purpose? Was he an agent of Geshul?
Yeah, Rekthul was a device that I used. He was a recurring villain, basically there to motivate the characters to move forward. Whenever they kind of slowed down on the path, he would appear. whenever I needed him to. The final battle between him and Vankus was basically just an affirmation of Vankus's power over Gershul, but ultimately I had him in my back pocket because I honestly thought it would be the party versus Draxus. And so there was a moment where if the party turned against Draxus, I did have that voice ask Draxus, do you need help? And if Draxus had said yes, Rakthul would have appeared, because remember, every time he died, he just turned into a red mist, which basically allowed him to come back again and again and again. So I had him as a backdoor policy just to make that final confrontation that much more dangerous if I needed to. I did not need to. The players, you guys made it as difficult and tragic for each other as you possibly
could. So crazy because like Rakthul seemed like the main villain at first, and then we killed him like 1 or 2 times, and it was crazy. This campaign never really had like a main villain. It was like we were almost working against each other.
It was Draxus.
Like, yeah.
It was us.
That was what was so cool.
What else could we have done?
No, you're quite right. Rakthul was originally supposed to be the villain that was supposed to be hounding and chasing you guys and kind of being at your coattails all the time. The first time he died was unexpected. 40 tons of beans is going to do that to you. The second time when Vankus just opened up and released his power, to be honest with you, I'm not sure, but I think Vankus could take any one of the other characters without even breaking a sweat. I mean, the druid is really, really powerful, and the way that Dave plays him is really, really smart. So he is a tour de force. And yeah, again, I didn't see that happening. So he really kind of lost his efficacy as a villain. But as you say, the party became its own antagonistic force fighting against each other. So I didn't have a problem with that.
There's so many times when we were just arguing with each other because we just didn't trust one another, like no matter who it was.
The note. I mean, the note. Who knew that one innocent little note would set the party against each other so rapidly?
Yeah,
that was fun. I've got a question. I got a 2-parter, one for you, Jacob, and then kind of one for both of us. So first off, it said something along the lines of, Jacob, how did you come up? There, I found it. Jacob, how did you come up with the concept of Dante?
So earlier everybody was pointing out the stuff about Valentine in the chat, and they were like, hey, I really liked Valentine. He was really great. And that's cool. I also liked Valentine. But I'll be honest, it's the end of the campaign. I talked to Guy to kill him off because I wasn't enjoying him as much as I thought I would. He's a great character, and he motivated the party a lot to do certain things, and his interactions with the characters really cool, and he was there being a character, which is fun. I personally didn't have much fun with him, and I wanted to kill him off to introduce a new character that I could have more fun with for the show, because I realized how much I enjoyed the game. Because previously on Court of Worms, I played like a bard, I played like Flinrin, and that was super fun, and I enjoyed that. And then I decided like I could play somebody like gruff and like this soldier character, and I didn't have fun with it at all because everybody was playing that character except for like maybe Lauren and a little bit of Venkus. And I was like, I want to have fun with that. So I was like, I'm going to make a bard. And what ended up happening was like 3 characters died. I was like, shit. So I made Dante because I wanted to play somebody that I was going to have fun with. Also because Cody gave me 3 character art, 3 pieces of character art and said, pick one. And I was like, the orc.
We had backup art in case somebody died. And I think we had 4 pieces, and there were 3 pieces deaths at one time.
So I was like, well, I won't make him a barbarian though. I'm going to make him a bard because it's my favorite class, and I'm going to have a lot of fun with it and make like this fighter bard orc character who is like an opera singer that goes against what his family wished. And it was kind of fun to play the antithesis to Valentine, because Valentine hated orcs. He killed all of them. And then I was playing an orc who also hated orcs, but for a completely different reason. And then Cody and I were like, hey, let's be like
We tried to get Lauren in on this. We wanted to make 3 bards.
Lauren to be another bard, and we'd just be a whole circus.
Yes, and there were plans, and there was female character art, like a blonde lady character art, human half elf, something like that you could have played, and you were like, nah, I want to use the same character art and do things with guys.
Because So let me explain why though. So I'm in the Discord chat and I'm talking to a few people and they're like, wouldn't it be cool if, and then they like kind of started talking about Jenks coming back eventually. And I was like, shit, man, now I want Jenks. And that ultimately made that decision. I was like, nope, sticking with it.
We all, so after Lauren kind of didn't want to join our little bard trio, she got kicked out of the band, I guess. Jacob and I had a chat about like, hey, we're going to be from the same place because obviously we want to make it an easy character tie-in for Guy that we're together, blah, blah, blah. So introducing 3 random people to a group is much harder than introducing like a group to another group. And so we kind of wanted to tie some stuff in. And I think was interesting is that there was never any talk about like Lionel, like my character being kind of a leader for Jacob's character or anything like that. But then when Jacob started like giving tidbits about like, hey, he's going to be kind of dumb. And then when Jacob shows up with the voice and he started acting him out, it just kind of evolved into this weird relationship and it threw me off. And I had to like kind of like backtrack to what I had originally planned with Lionel when you started role-playing. Because our relationship evolved completely natural. There was nothing foreshadowing for that or anything.
Yeah, all the stuff that we like made up in game that was like, hey, remember when I ate your toe? And I was like,
improv.
all made up.
All improv.
On the spot, we were just like bouncing off each other like, oh, I didn't eat you didn't eat my toe. It was from this thing. And that kind of became like a thing. So nobody really knows how Dante lost his toes.
I do want to say, I think that's one of the great strengths this group has.
That's right. Lionel lost his toes.
The strength that this group has is that there's been lots of communication between you guys and myself in terms of, hey, this is what I'd like to see happen. This is what I'd like to do. And I always like to, I mean, I like to give you guys what you want. So, you know, when we were talking about, okay, well, how can we get Jenks back in? You know, how can we work those sort of things out? How can we get these sort of story things to tie together? There was lots of conversation happening, but there was so much more improv happening and everybody rolled with it. There was never any kind of pushback or resistance to the improv. It was like, hey, Vankus, you've now got a bride.
Yes.
You've now got a talking donkey who, you know, wants to teach you to read. I mean, you guys just rolled with everything. Yeah. And at no point did it ever feel like, oh, do we really kind of have to go with this? Do we really have to do this? Do we really, you know, it just kind of went with it. And I think perhaps the worst that I was to Lauren, because she's like, okay, cool. Well, you know, can we do something? I was like, yeah, sure. Roll with it. And then I would just feed her this line.
There was literally a game like 2 games ago where she was just like, Guy, you just did oh no, because
I was legitimately freaking out.
She was right before we went live every time. She was just like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this.
That's why I'm sweaty every time we get in here. I'm like checking my messages, and everyone's like, "What the hell?"
Sure, Lord.
I think my favorite reaction was last week's. Was it last week or the week before?
It was last week.
It was last week. We didn't know who this voice was that she was talking to. Lauren didn't know who this voice was that she was talking to. That was her father. And then, literally, as Cody's counting us down, it's like, okay, 10, 9. I'm like, your father is Brax. Boom.
That's why I reacted like that.
But everybody just rose to the occasion. So I think that's what has made it really, really strong. Is there's no pushback to just kind of rolling with it.
Also,
I do want to say, for every time that guy was like, oh, some big reveal is happening, and like told like your father's Brax, right, and had Lauren freak out, he also said vague things like, hey, Mike, something's gonna happen tonight. Roll with it. And I'm like, fucking sure, guy. That couldn't be any more vague. What am I going to do with that? Like, literally, I could do anything with that. What does that mean? He's like, I don't figure it out. I was like, all right, cool. Fuck me. Let's do that.
Yeah. Dude, that whole brotherhood thing, like, I mean, dude, like, it just gets thrown on you. Here's a black rock. And then later he's like, so what do you want this black rock to be about? And I'm just like, I don't know. I have a bunch of wives and a husband. And
he comes to me and he's like, so Lionel has an hiding from, and he's been marked for death. What do you do about this? I'm secretly following him the whole time. Okay. And then we start the game and it's like, whoa.
Can I make a comment about this? So this whole Lionel love quadrangle, whatever, pentagon, expanding hexagon, the hecagon thing that's happening with Lionel, Guy mentioned that to me. We're like, okay, cool, let's go with it. We thought, hey, do we want to take Lionel dark? Nah, I don't want people to hate him that much. We'll go figure. That fucking worked out. And then, anyways, it ended up with this, like, kind of what we talked about. And so I had, like, an idea that, like, there was going to be a scene where a woman comes up and slaps me and she's my wife, and then another woman comes up and slaps me and she's my wife, and then a man comes up and slaps me and he's my husband, and just, like, let the cast freak out about it. But he also had this conversation with Jacob, and I knew nothing about it. So while I'm trying to improv with Guy, Jacob is improving with Guy and me, and I'm totally trying to play catch up to. I have no idea what Jacob knows, and that was trippy and wild. And I just thought it was so crazy. It's so much information to take in at one time.
It was a lot of fun to do it, and I specifically did it that way because I wanted it. Oftentimes I don't like to use the role playing to kind of not teach people lessons, but to give insight into humanity. But oftentimes the players, the ones who are stringing along a lot of lovers or husbands or wives or whatever, there's a whole nother side that they don't know. And so I went, okay, well, Jacob knows the other side. So let's see where that happens. And then the whole thing turning into Jerry Springer show was a complete
that was awesome.
fluke.
I blame the chat for that. That was the chat's fault.
It really was the chat that caused that to happen. But then Baby Draxus happened, so it was like brilliant.
Don't bring that into here. I do have one. Yeah. I do have one question I want to dispel for the answer because it's popped up every time since the beginning of the campaign. The question was how much plot armor was used? None.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to bring that one up as well. And you guys are newer to the cast, but so we did this for like a year prior. We've racked up almost a dozen kills for characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had 4 deaths this game. Was it 4? Jenks,
3,
Gwen, Jenks, Gwen, Lionel. Well, I mean Barnabas.
You killed Gwen, and
yeah. Well, kinda. I mean, yeah. So 3.
But she's dead. To be fair,
but
she's actually.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's really 3 that, like, combat happened, damage dice got dealt out, they died, we had
new characters.
Nothing to do with it. Yeah.
I love you guys, and I've had so much fun. This is probably my favorite campaign I think I've been in.
But
fuck y'all. What happened to Scratches?
We'll never know.
So I will say,
still on the island.
At the last possible second, and I don't fault Guy because he probably didn't see it because chat was going nuts in Zoom. I did try to append last week's message, which was also in the bar, is Lionel, Dante, and Scratches.
Oh, I didn't.
So my intent was to have everyone in this bar, as if Lionel and Dante had actually been in the bar the whole time.
Hey.
Real quick, we do need to talk about what's going on next week. Because I know that May the 8th is when Oasis... No, we're not.
Yes, next week is a break, and then it's 3 episodes, and then a break.
4 weeks, so it's 1 break.
I'm not the producer. I have no idea what's going on. So next week we won't be here. However, we will be back on the... What is that? The 10th? Okay, so here's the deal, guys. We have 3 episodes before the start of Oasis. The question is do you guys want to see a 3-shot from Mike... Or do you want to see a 2-shot from Mike and a 1-shot from Lauren, who has never DM'd a game before? Live on stream in front of hundreds of people.
Neither of you been consulted?
So let us know in chat what you guys want to see. Let us know what you guys want to see. You can
Lauren,
tell
they're
by
going
her
to throw
face.
you right under the bus.
Let us know if you guys want me to read a book on
we go to the bread realm.
The bread realm?
It's just bread recipes.
The bread.
Yeah,
they want it so bad.
Can I have a
They're all going to go for 2-in-1.
2-in-1, 2-in-1. Oh, somebody says a 3-shot. Sorry, Lauren.
Well, you can just enact your cult, Lauren. I think you could.
Yeah, they're just fucking with me. I've talked to them about how I don't want to do this at great length, very late in the early in the morning.
Right,
they really don't want to.
All right, so Lauren, let me ask you this: how many new patrons do we need between now and the next 14 days for you to 100%?
Mario Sack donated. It said
so Mario Sack donated $20. So okay, so how many new patrons
If you hit $750 on your patron,
I think we're at like 640 or something like that right now, right?
All right. Well, that's it. 750.
750
weeks, guys.
And with the stipulation, the guy has to help me if I need help.
I might up my plan
In the background.
and just cancel later.
No, that doesn't count. No, a new patron, new. Nope.
All right, here's what we will do. When Mike starts his first game in 2 weeks, we will have a poll up that will track how many new patrons we have for Lauren to run her one shot. And Lauren, if it happens, tough shit. Suck it up, princess. You gotta do it.
Also, during one of the patron games, during the podcast, they'll all wear matching stupid shirts.
We will wear matching stupid shirts. I have no problem with that.
Yes.
What do you want me to?
But I get to pick what it is.
We're gonna all wear Under Armour shirts. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No, it's just the nipple cut out like in Mean Girls.
You know what, Dave? If you could afford one of these, that's all you'd buy. I love you, buddy.
What's Under Armour?
I don't know. Apparently, somebody said they're
It's what you wear under your armor so it doesn't chafe.
I can't keep
Oh,
it straight.
gotcha.
All right, we've got 2 minutes before we're out of here, guys. Rapid fire questions. Anybody got anything extra before?
Was the crystal dragon ever meant to be hatched?
The crystal dragon ever meant to be hatched? No.
Will this affect the windswept game?
No, it won't affect the windswept game.
Have you all accepted Jenks as your Lord and Savior?
No.
Yes.
After what she said to her daddy, no.
Actually, I agree with that. No.
The fact that you said daddy, can we get that on a clip, please?
That you agree with, Dante.
I feel like Vankus had a personal relationship.
Daddy. I just want a button.
Guy saying daddy. We need
This
to
is an important one. And it's all in caps. That's how you know it's important. Are the halflings back again?
No.
No, God. No.
Oh.
What?
Wow.
Why not?
Wow.
Why not? No.
Yeah.
No, you're talking. No, I ran.
But he reset the universe.
No,
He reset the universe as he wanted it at the time of Draxus being there.
Yep.
Oh.
And Lord Slythen had erased the halflings many, many years before then.
Oh, never mind.
I love halflings.
I have a good
We're
question.
talking about something else entirely.
I'm sad.
Did
I wanna
Draxus
play a
remove the
one-player-
memory of Dantel calling him dad?
Yeah, because it happened before then.
No,
So
you
I reset
can't-
everything back to the beginning.
No, you can't do that. You can't get rid of it. The halflings died. That means you're still.
So that's the thing.
Every time Draxus hears daddy, he goes, huh.
Yeah, so it happened in Draxus's timeline, right? But like that's how like weird wonky timeline magic happens. So Draxus experienced that, and then he went back to the beginning. So he remembers that moment, but no one else in the world does.
Oh, that's fine. Dante doesn't remember it.
Yeah.
First
He
off-
remembers that. Like he can't erase what happened to him.
No,
He
it's
still has
forever
memories.
engraved into Draxus's mind.
Yep.
Do you guys like Dantel better or Leonte?
It's
Dantel.
It's Dantel. It's
Dantel.
Dantel.
Leonte. You don't like that one? All right.
No, it's Dantel.
Dante.
Leonte. I feel like
Dantel.
Leonte is on. I think that's it. How much money to just buy Lauren to run the one shot?
$500 right now. She runs.
Listen, you can't buy me.
Don't do that. They'll do
David,
$5 million.
listen. That you can't pimp people on our YouTube channel. All right,
damn it.
there's
Well, to be fair,
community
Cody,
guidelines.
Excuse
fair-
me, what is my cut of this money?
Yeah.
We'll split it with
The
you.
normal
Get
cut
on
that you're
Twitch.
getting
Wait,
paid.
you donate that. It's all Cody. That goes to Cody.
You guys
That
fuck
is-
off on the
that is
internet.
some
I have an adult job.
bullshit.
I need this right now, guys.
That is some bullshit. It does not come to me. Dave gets 50%. I'm kidding. That's a joke.
Dave gets paid nothing.
That's all we got.
Yeah, that's it. Guys, go check out everyone else's Patreon. Come fucking follow us. Do all of our shit, social media, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, also, just because there are so many questions coming through, I just want to state that my show on Friday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the last half hour, so it's not 6, it's 7:30, I will be doing a breakdown of this final episode. So if you have more questions, I'll be doing that. I've done it every week so far. I will finish off. So if you have more technical questions about plot and that kind of stuff, I will unpack that because I see there's some questions about planning and timing and stuff. So.
And by the way, we do answer, the whole cast does answer questions for the Saber Dark after show, or the Saber Dice After Dark after show. God, that's wordy. We do answer random questions and stuff like that we get in from you guys, and we will try to answer some of those stuff in Discord. Yeah. So
Also, harass Gen Con. Well, I mean,
yes.
not harass, but talk to Gen Con.
No,
Tell them
no,
you want to
harass.
see us on a stage playing live D&D.
And if we don't get a stage at Gen Con, I think that would be insane. But we will be playing some kind of tabletop for you guys at Gen Con, and you guys
For
can come
real.
up and meet us
You know
and
what?
hug us and high-five us and not harass Lauren or buy her for $500, David.
I like making
5
broad
million.
I like making broad sweeping statements that everyone has to just follow up with. If we get a stage at Gen Con, if you guys harass the people enough to give us a stage at Gen Con, Kharos Stones 2 on the stage at Gen Con.
No, we don't know that.
Why not?
Why not a prequel?
Who doesn't want to see that?
Why not a prequel? We'll
Absolutely
Star Wars
not.
it.
Guy, we're having it.
No, we'll
Agreed.
Star Wars it, and we'll
No.
loop back around.
Nope.
Jenks and her
Traxxas
four
is like, I
disciples.
hate saying it's coarse and it's
We
rough. and
love
it's
you.
everywhere.
We
Of course,
love your
that's rough.
faces. We will
Gets
see you guys in 2 weeks. Okay, we're gonna be back with Mike in 2 weeks. We'll catch you soon. Stay nerdy,
Bye.
and we're out.